All right, going live again. Hopefully we can hear on this mic. Testing 1, 2. Test 1, 2. Testing 1, 2. We're using the V8, so hopefully we can hear this mic. I'm going to delete this video. I just want to make sure all the settings are correct. Test. Test. Hey, Casey. Hey, Casey. All right, what I'm trying to do is see if I can get this background audio playing. So if we try this one more time, from here, I should be able, if I share my screen, share the entire screen, this, now let's see if we get audio. Sorry, very loud. I'm not understanding why I'm not getting the audio coming through. Oh, hold on one second. I think I know why. Okay, I got the tab set. Getting all this distortion. Yeah, I got the phone away from the mic. I'm trying to. See, I'm hearing the audio straight through my V8, through my headphones. It works fine on StreamYard, but when I do YouTube, I can't get it to pipe through. And it works fine on my OBS. I'm just trying to do it with a webcam. I don't know why. If I stop sharing that, I'll come up again. Now let's try this again. See, also share system audio, yes. So now I'm going to share my screen. There it is. Yeah, but see, now the issue is I'm adjusting it with the V8, but the V8's not controlling the volume. I have to manually do it. See, right now you're not gonna, it should be real low. Down. I'm trying to be able to do it all through the V8 instead of me having to do it separately. So let's see, if I turn my mic up, am I getting louder? Test, test. Okay, mic. Mic all the way up. 3/4 mic. Ah. I wonder if I do it from here. Okay, hold on. I think I might got something. Yeah, so on my sound options through my Windows system, I've got them both set to my V8, my speaker and microphone. Let's see if that backing audio gets louder now. I got that backing audio on this V8 all the way up, so it should be blaring out. Alright, so let me try something different. I'll pause the thing. I'm going to take this audio from the V8, stick it over on this laptop over here. Let's see. Open a browser. I'm trying to pick somewhere I'm not going to get struck. I'm not going to keep this video up. All right, so let's say what? Background. I can type it here. Let's see. Background. Audio. Okay, this is royalty free. Come on. Why is it taking? Oh my God. Yes, I don't want to do all that crap. Okay, so we'll just type royalty free. Music. Okay, we'll type videos here. Let's see, videos. Let's see this background music playing. Yeah. I see it's working on this separate laptop. So the way that I'm going to have to do this, play my music through this second laptop instead of trying to play it through this laptop. Yeah, it's way louder too. I agree. I think there's something wrong with my built-in sound on this laptop. Thank you for the help, man, because I'm sitting here trying to hold a phone, listen to that at the same time. Then there's that delay, there's an echo, and then I keep getting all the feedback. It's just a pain in the butt. Because what I'm trying to do is I can get the karaoke to work, but I have to do it on a separate laptop or my phone. My phone, the audio's not loud enough, so I need the audio to be a little bit louder for the background. So it seems like this laptop here, the audio sounds way louder than on my phone or this laptop. Now, the thing is, what I'm trying to do is when I'm sharing my screen, uh, uh, yeah, let's see. Yeah, I can still see the Cali behind. Because I can do it through the tabs and play the music, but I want to be able to try to do, when I do karaoke and everything, I just want to do it with one setup where I don't have to keep switching everything back and forth. Oh, you don't use a phone or anything. So how are you checking all your audio levels? I'm just kind of curious. See, I downloaded a couple of these. There's like this Rode mixer that it's a software, and I was trying to pipe it through that way. And it sounds good on my end, but when I listen to it on a live stream, either the audio's not coming through or my mic level is either too low and the music's too loud. So I'm trying to figure, I don't even hear. Oh, you don't even have a sound card. So you're doing yours all straight through a laptop? 'Cause I was trying to do that too, but yeah, that wasn't working so well for me. Yeah, see, I think I'm getting too technical or I'm overthinking things because I know it should not be this hard to set up. Oh, no headphone amplifier. Ah, okay. All right. Makes more sense. Can I? Yeah, I can hear myself in my ear. Yeah, because I wasn't even into the karaoke. The only reason I mainly do tech videos, right? And that's mainly what I stick to. But then I got into the karaoke. Oh, yeah, I bet it is very difficult. Yeah, I can imagine. Because the only reason I even started doing the karaoke is when I found the Filipino communities. I was like, you know what? They always kept saying, when to promote your channel. So they would promote my channel. And I was like, I don't have anything over there that's music related at all. And I was like, I don't even know if they're going to like my content. So I was like, you know what? I want to sing. So I bought this little V8 card because I'm not going to invest a lot of money because I'm not a singer. So I said, what I'll do is I'll buy the little V8 card and I'll start singing. So therefore, I can give them something to entertain themselves. And then it's another side of me that other people in the techie community has never seen. So I was like, I'm hitting two birds with one stone. I'm having fun singing, and now I can join their streams and sing. Which again, after I'm noticing once I get on their platform and I start singing, I'll probably never be invited back again. Because as you realize, there's some really good singers out there. I am not a singer. I have never claimed to be a good singer. See, that's what I said. Oh yeah, you're still not happy. Wow. Yeah, see, I'm just not dedicated enough to where the tech stuff, if I'm gonna spend that type of money, I would rather buy myself a server or, some more tech gadgets. But for the karaoke and stuff, I was like, if this would work with my streams and benefit me, then I'm willing to make the investment. But if it's just for singing, yeah, I'm not gonna make that type of investment. As one, yeah, I'm not getting paid to sing. I don't know anybody that would ever pay me to sing. But I did want to be able to engage in the communities and be able to sing along with them, just to have some fun. There's a lot of them were like, yeah, once you get your sound card set up, you ought to come and join us and you could sing with us. And I was like, I don't think you guys have heard me sing. Oh no, you'll be surprised if you sing. it wa- Yeah, I've noticed this. Yeah, and that's what I like about these communities. They're so very warm and welcoming. That, yeah, they'll let pretty much anybody get up and sing, even if you know. And I get it. They love the joy of singing. But, it's the internet. I don't want to get up and embarrass myself in front of the whole world. Where it's like, especially when I got my students and other people to watch my content, I've already been getting my balls busted a little bit. They're like, dude, what are you doing? I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm singing karaoke. I'm having fun. That's what it's all about, just having fun. I just don't, when people got these expectations of like, oh, you're going to be a great singer, see, especially open camera, yeah, which working on, it's almost, I hate this stupid little heart thing, that it's very stressful. Yeah, see, like, I don't mind opening my camera and stuff because I do feel like a lot of people, when they first met me in the chats, you know how you picture this, I guess you get this idea of the ideal person in your mind, who they are. And then when I turn my camera on, I think people are very disappointed. They're like, oh, I thought this guy might be younger. And I know a lot of people in the Filipino community thought I was way younger than what I am. Let's rock. Stop spamming emotes warning. Huh? Oh, that's that stupid night bite. Yeah, just ignore that, Casey. I don't even know. This thing's supposed to automate to actually, you know what, Casey, since you're here, let me do this. So I think I have to do it manually because the bot's not doing it. Uh, I'm going to give you this little modro. You don't have, you can use it if you want or not. I just want to see if it's working. All right, you should have the modro. Yeah, I learned something too because again, I don't usually do live streams. I just make videos and I hang out on Discord and I talk to other people. Well, evidently, in one of the communities I was in, they give everybody the modro, right? Well, there was a person, I don't know who it was, but to me, it looked like they were spamming, right? So I thought it was just going to affect on my end. So I clicked and I blocked them. I didn't realize by having that moderator role, I just blocked them from the whole chat and I upset the community because they were like, who blocked that person? I was like, uh oh. So I'm sitting there trying to tell them, I thought I was just trying to block it because I thought they were spamming and I didn't want to see the pop up. So next thing you know, they removed my mod role and, you know, it was an honest mistake. I didn't do it on purpose. I was just trying to block it on my end. But I forgot that I had a moderator role. And yes, the worst part was I was about to kick them, right? I was about to just try to kick the person. That would have even been worse. Kick somebody from somebody else's community. But live and learn. And it was one of these communities it's a larger community. And I'm not going to say their name or whatever, but we'll just say they seem polite about it. And I wasn't offended that they moved my moderator role. I could care less if I got moderator role or not. I really don't even know what it's for. Like like moderator role, the way I always took it was for people to moderate my channel so I don't got people coming and dropping the N word or, F bombing and just being a pain in the ass, trolling. But the thing is, I'm surprised they don't have a lot more issues because they give everybody that moderator role. Yeah, it makes no difference to me either. And that's this concept that I just realized too. If they're giving everybody that moderator role, how would they not had issues before? Do they trust everybody with that moderator role? Because they do understand they could just have somebody come in and start kicking everybody in their chat. And by the time they get to it, it's a little too late. So, and I guess the other reason was if you right click on the name as a with the moderator role, you can go join their channel and all that stuff. But to me, I'm sitting here like, people want to promote, they could promote whatever and stuff, but it doesn't happen very often. And I'm not trying to give anybody any ideas. If any Americans watch my stream, don't go join those Filipino communities and start trolling and doing all that. And say, oh, Mentor sent you. Yeah, Jimmy sent me over here. And then I'm like, oh my God, you'll cause me a big headache. But that's not what I'm trying to do. Yeah, evidently they don't have a lot of issues with that. And I think that's probably why they don't have a lot of Americans that do join have been, civilized. But I think anybody that's been on the internet knows, yeah, we've got some people. Yeah, that's what it's for. Yeah, it makes it a lot easier. Right, right. And again, they're always promoting each other. So normally, the streamers I watch, you don't usually promote yourself like that. If you want to do that, start your own YouTube up and start promoting, doing whatever. And I was actually looking at my analytics. Just speaking of, when I was looking at my analytics, I was like, oh, my channel's really growing. I think I'm like at 121 subscribers when I started out with like 30. So within the past month, I picked up like almost 80 subscribers. And I was curious. I was like, oh, this must be from Filipinos. Well, when I started looking at the analytics, I was actually incorrect. The majority of my audience is still an American audience, not the Filipino community. And then I noticed with my videos, the people that watch it, that actually watch it longer term, are Americans. So I'm just thinking they'll follow you, but nobody's watching my content in the Philippines. If there are, I would like them to reach out to me. Any Filipinos out there that actually have viewed my content and actually can tell me what I actually do in my videos, that would be very helpful because I don't sing. That's not at all what this channel was about. But I do got some new channels and stuff that I'm working on. And see, I got this cheap little mic because this is the mic I normally use for streaming here. I bought a little package online on Amazon and it came with the whole little kit. Well, this is the main mic that I use. Problem is, as you see, it's USB. I was going to have to get a converter to convert it over to the, 3.5 millimeter jack to plug into this stupid V8 to get it to work. So I was like, I'll just buy this little cheap mic. This was like 15 bucks or something like that. The reviews were really bad. So far, I have to say, anybody who does buy this little mic, it's called, I can't remember what the name of it is. It's the satanic mic. That's what everybody kept calling it. It's called the SF666. That's the devil's mic. And I guess you can buy these on Wish. To be truthful, the quality, I have to say, not as bad as I thought it was going to be. It's not really that bad. But again, I never really used any professional or high-end mics or anything. Cheap is the way I go. Yeah, it's not actually that bad, especially for the little price. And I was like, what, I could buy the bigger setup and stuff, but I was like, if the channel grew and I was actually, if I ever get monetized or whatever. And that's the other thing I've been trying to figure out. Maybe Casey, how in God's name are any of these karaoke streamers getting monetized? Because I don't see how. Every stinking time I have posted a video, I keep getting copyright strike. Now, I don't bother with it because I'm like, I'm not getting monetized, so I'm not worried about it. But I don't know how in the world they're getting around all that. And I did get one big warning, which I was like, yeah, that's why I got a little nervous about singing. So I've been trying to do like either the royalty-free music or trying to sing a cappella or doing something else because I really don't want no trouble with, the record industry or anything like that because I'm not trying, I like music and I like to sing and all that. But that's what I'm still trying to figure out. But evidently they got some little game plan or something that they do, some little secret or something. I have no idea. Oh, okay. Yeah, because I've been seeing some of those streams when I go back to, I can hear it in the live stream, but right after you do the replay, yeah, it's all muted. So I'm just assuming like, yeah, we get a listen and stuff. I get the view. So I'm assuming that's the workaround. They're getting the views, they're getting the clicks and all that, and then they'll mute it right afterwards. Because somebody did tell me a trick and I was listening. It seems like the sweet spot is that 2 hour mark. If you're going to stream music, as long as you stay within 2 hours and stuff, it usually don't pop up immediately. Because I did a longer stream, and what happened with me was right in the middle of the stream, yeah, YouTube just completely blocked me. Like I thought my stream went down, but there was no audio, no nothing coming through. Once I stopped the music, my stream returned and I could speak again. Then I just started doing a hacking video. But I was like, wow, I wasn't expecting that. And again, I'm not trying to screw YouTube over or anything else. I'm trying to actually go on to other platforms because I've got a lot of different content that I'm trying to think of how I could present it. Because I want to include my Filipino friends on this journey. And it's not just tech, but I want to do conversations. So I got some stuff on Rumble and Odyssey. So I do got two other platforms that I've got some other channels that I want to launch, and I'm trying to get feedback from other people because again, the Filipino community isn't my target audience. I just feel like this is an audience that I haven't tapped into, and when I look at the YouTube algorithm, nobody else has either, especially on the tech side of things. There is, like I said, I see a lot of people from India that do a lot of tech videos, but you know, dedicated strictly for the Tagalog or Filipino community, none. So that's what I'm trying to do is like, you know what? I want to make content. The problem is it's that language barrier. And that's why I'm trying to learn Tagalog, but it's not an easy language. Not at all. I mean, I suck at languages anyway. I had a hard time in high school with Spanish. So Tagalog, I'm like, wow, these words are. So I've been using my Google Translate, and I found a plugin that I tried to use with my YouTube. It seems to do okay on the translation of the video. And then when I noticed on the YouTube where you can pick a different language and like subtitles, I was thinking maybe they could do Tagalog, but that thing's not that great either. Because that's what I'm trying to do is where I can make my content and be able to teach the Filipino people in their language. The first thing I tried was reaching out to a couple of the Filipino people that I know and say, hey, would they want to do a voiceover over my video? And I was like, all they have to do is read my script. Yes, exactly. Because they were like, well, I could try to help you, but it's because of the acronyms and the terms that I'm using, they don't know right. They can't translate that over. And that is, especially when it comes to technical content, that's very hard to do. And again, I don't want people to be, getting confused when I'm trying to teach something and they say something in another word that has, that, that don't go along with the topic. And then it'll confuse people. Then they'll ask me questions. And I'm like, I'm trying to find some type of middle ground how I could do that. My American friends are saying, dude, why are you even worrying about the Filipino community? And I was like, because I think it's a target audience. And I just feel like there's techie people, there's very intelligent people. And technology just changed my life is all I'm saying. When it comes to information security, it changed my life. And that's why I believe if I could teach this to the Filipinos and stuff, they could honestly maybe start a new career and change their lives because it does pay very, very well. Here in the States, in the Philippines, I really don't know, but if they could get a remote job and stuff, because I was looking at some statistics online and I still want to ask my Filipino friends, Casey, where exactly did you say you were again? I'm just kind of curious. I know you're not in the Philippines. But I was just looking up the annual salary, and I'm not putting down the Filipino people and stuff, but I was blown away by how much supposedly what Google said they make. Like in America, there is no way anybody can live off that. That's way under the poverty level. Oh, that's right. You're Canadian. Yeah, I did a Google search. I could actually probably show it online. But they were saying the average salary for a Filipino for a month is like $300. I was like, there is no way. And I understand, the price of inflation and all that. But even in Canada, dude, $300 for a month? You couldn't live. You couldn't live in a cardboard box for that. I mean, I think homeless people make more money than that, disability. And again, it's nothing putting down the Filipino people. I just was blown away that that's their incomes. So I'm trying to say, in information security, if they could just get a networking certification starting out, and they could work for Amazon or anything, starting out, it's like 45. I'm going on a low end here. In the States, it's 55,000 or more. But even with them, $30,000 to $50,000, that's a game changer. Yeah, it is a damn shame. Because, yeah, that's why I'm thinking, like, if I could share with them information and they could get the certification, I'll give them all the information, all the resources, all the labs. All they have to do is if they pay attention and understand and be able to pass the exam, And the problem is, even with Cisco certification, right? It's $150 a pop. There's 2 tests. The thing is, it's a $300 exam. Actually, it's one exam now, but the thing is, that's if you get into CCNA or P&I. But a CCNA, Cisco's Certified Network Administrator, right? It's $300 for that certification. Now, for them, that would be like 1 month's, you know, pay. However, if they came up with $300 and they paid, and the thing is too, I also get people that I could get sponsors. Now, the thing is, I don't know how they would feel with giving money out to foreign countries. We like to help, I'm an American, so we try to help Americans and all. But at the end of the day, if I could pay for one of their certifications, right? I pay for one of their certifications. You understand? I could just change somebody's life. Now, I would hope they would pass the exam, but if they pass that exam and then you see, you know, starting out $45,000, $50,000, and even in America, I would still say, that's a decent pay. Because average American, I think, says, under $30,000, I think now is the poverty level. But when I sit here and look again, when I look at other countries, and see, when I think of the Philippines, though, they're not a third world country. That would be somewhere like Bangladesh or somewhere I would think that would make. So that's what I'm trying to verify with some of the Filipinos and stuff. But, I understand we don't want to talk personal information about how much people make and all that. But by statistics, let me see if this will actually, I think I got a thing here. We're going to use Google. How much? Did that go? No, it's still on. Did the music stop? Let's see. Let's play. Maybe I can play all. Give it a second. All right, there's a little bit more music. All right. So, let's see. How much? Oh, everything's going to put on me. Okay, just type it here. How much does a Filipino make a month? Okay, Filipino make a month. Now, this is average. Make a month. Yeah, see, Google was way wrong. The average monthly salary in the Philippines can vary depending on location. Okay, same thing in the States, right? Industry and experience, but is generally between PHP of 50,000 and PHP of 60,000. The equivalent to USD, okay, so I'm way off. Okay, but the equivalency is about USD of $800.12 a month. And I'm still like, that is not that high. And the median salary being PHP of $41,300, meaning that half of the population earns less than that. However, salaries can vary significant between the sectors and job roles. For example, in Manila, which capital, the average salary for an employee is PHP of $27,250 per month, with a range of 19,833. And just so people don't think just saying stuff, again, it's Google, so take it with a grain of salt. Right here. That's what I'm reading per Google. Oh, okay, no problem, man. Thanks for stopping by. And thank you for all the help too, being able to figure out this sound card and all this crap. And I'll probably do some karaoke streams coming up. But again, yeah, you have a good rest of your day, man. What time is it anyway? Oh yeah, it's almost 10 o'clock. Boy in Manila, Philippines, glass door. Other factors that affect education and economic conditions. Most companies require at least a A bachelor's degree making, jeez. And degree holders can expect starting salary of $333 per month with a freaking degree. They have lost their mind. Wow, this gets worse. Oh, no problem, man. You have a good one. Those who only have a high school education or technical vocational training may earn less than minimum wage with a vocational training. Economic condition, inflation rates, and changing labor demands can also cause the... That's crazy. Yeah. Top earners. Right there. $51,000 is the top earner. Oh, okay. Yeah. I'll definitely check out cats. Yeah, I'm very familiar with cats. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'll definitely stop by and stuff. I know my friend Leslie, she was streaming. I think she was probably doing her early morning walk. She's from Hong Kong. So if you ever get to check out Leslie, she's really fun to check out too. And she does singing as well. What's her name? Leslie Fashionista. Oh, one last thing before you go, Casey. Do you ever hang out in... I always say it's Diona, but it's Jana. I can't remember her last name or whatever. I don't even know if that's her last name. Oh, okay. Yeah. Usually she's been popping on like 12 o'clock midnight or 2 in the morning for me. But yeah, I've been hanging out over on her stream too. So I still kind of do my regular rounds and all that. A lot of people haven't been seeing me lately and stuff because I can't keep staying up that late. 2, 4 o'clock in the morning and stuff, and I got to work and stuff at 6 in the morning. Like, yeah, it's too much. I can maybe do that on the weekends. Oh, okay, you're not familiar. Yeah, there's all these, with all the other streams. But yeah, it's definitely a fun community to hang out with. I just wish we weren't 12-hour difference. That would make things a lot easier. So for my American friends that might actually stop by or watch the stream or somebody watches it later, yes, I just want to let everybody know, more than likely there's going to be a 12-hour difference if you catch any of these streamers. I'll actually start putting some links in my videos and stuff so you guys can go check them out. Well, actually, before I do that, I want to check with the streamers to make sure it's okay that I'll share their links, especially with my American audience, because I don't want them to get a nosebleed, they like to call it, because they get too many Americans over there, they get a little flustered up. Not saying every single one of them, but the majority are going to get flustered up if they got too many people speaking English at one time. And it's their community, so we want to be respectful. It'd be like, when people come over to our channels and they start speaking foreign languages, what do we always say? Hey, you got to speak English. Because we don't like when other people start, speaking in foreign languages that we can't understand. My tool of choice has been Google Translate. It seems to be working good, pretty well so far. That is crazy, though. See, the top 75% have $44,000. That is... I mean, in the States, too, we could say that's pretty... yeah, decent. But information security, yes, that's a junior. That's somebody just starting out. I mean, $32,000, you can make that working, I would say probably, and nothing against people that work at Walgreens or anything like that. But yeah, almost any retail job starting out, minimum wage, you're going to make $30,000 a year. I'm just blown away by the numbers. And again, it's not trying to put anybody down. It's just, wow. This is why I appreciate living in the United States. But also in the United States, anybody that knows that lives here, we have inflation. And then we have our taxes. And so I don't know that much about with the Filipino community. If they have, health insurance. Is everybody covered through that? Just kind of like, in the EU and then Britain and all that. They get a lot of extra benefits that we have to pay for here in the United States. This is why I like meeting different people from all around the world. We get to learn about each other's cultures, our day-to-day activities. You know, how much is gas? You know, and I know, like here in America, it's still almost $4. It's come down a little bit, but it's been rough. It's been really rough. All right, well, enough of that. I don't want to say I'm harping, because I don't want any person to think I'm picking on their country or something. And actually, just to show a comparison, let me Google this. All right, let's see. Wow, that's crazy, dude. That's 2020 numbers, though. Okay, by this graph, they're showing right here the average income in the United States as of 2022 was $37,585. Income in the United States, 2022. Let's see, average salary in the U.S., 2024. This is from USA Today. Then we go, okay, let's look at Forbes. Forbes, I would trust a lot more than USA Today. All right, so let's look here. And again, this ain't an economics video or anything, so let's look through here. Average salary by state in 2024 in the United States. Okay, so let's see here. All right, I live in Florida, so let's see. Right, see, so price of living across the United States. In Florida, average pay $55,980. But you also got to understand price of living and stuff down here in Florida is going to be more than that. Let's say somebody in Kentucky. So right, Kentucky, $51,490. But that's again average income. Let's go Cali. Notice California, $73,220. Now that makes a lot more sense. California is way more expensive. Let's look at Texas. Yeah, Texas is comparable to Florida, 57,300, and we were at 55, so about 2,000 more. Let's look somewhere like Mississippi. Okay, 45,180. And again, we know Mississippi, especially down in the southern parts and stuff, is definitely a lot more rural. Alabama, $50,620. Tennessee. Let's check out. Okay, Colorado makes sense. Wyoming. Let's think of Minnesota. Wow, Michigan makes 58,000. But again, it depends on the area you live in Michigan. That sure ain't no Flint, Michigan. Wisconsin, let's see, Illinois, Iowa, Missouri. Yeah, so I would say average is right around close to 50,000 nationwide. The average annual salary nationwide is about $60,000, $59,428. The average hourly rate nationwide is $28.34. But also depends on set, how long you've been at your job, how much experience do you have, how much seniority if you work in a union. See, before diving into the specifics, let's look at the big picture. The average annual salary across the U.S. is $59,428. That's not the whole story. Shifting our gaze to the hourly perspective. Okay, so since we were speaking of that, let's open up a new tab. As of July 2024, the average hourly pay for a CCNA, a Cisco Certified Network Associate in the United States is $39.45 an hour, within a range of $14.66 to $64.90. The majority of CCNA wages fall between the 25th and 75th percentile of $28.85 to $49.76. However, pay can vary widely, with some sources reporting. So Indeed is saying they can make between $78,000 to $82,000. 100,000, which I think is really high for CCNA. ZipRecruiter says 81,749 for a CCNA network administrator. Glassdoor is saying 87,290 with a total pay range of 91,000 to 171,000. That's definitely going to be. I think they're definitely overpricing here. But again, you should know your value. So if somebody is going to get a CCNA, definitely know your worth and your value and what you can bring to the company, and don't get underbid. So as we see here. So let's see. All right, let's check somebody with a CCNP. CCNP is a network professional. And again, there's different paths that you could go. CCNP, average salary US. Okay, network professional in the United States is around 109,336 per year, which again, yeah, I would say definitely about in six figures. Or $52.57 per hour. Our salaries can range as low as $25,000 to as high as 100. Anybody that's got a CCNP, and again, even if you're entry level, 25,000, no, you are being underbid, and you picked the wrong job. It's not the wrong job. You picked the wrong employer. Anybody's going to pay you 25, they're out of their mind. With the 25 percentile, 65,000, 65 percentile, right, 150 factors such as location, skill level. Again, anybody with a CCNP or a CCNA, if any job offers you 25,000, now I get it if you need a job and you just need to get a foothold and want to get some experience, you could do that. But I'm just trying to say you're devaluing yourself. The lowest I would say would be at least 40,000 starting out. But again, it depends on your situation. I'm not going to tell people what they should and should not do. All right. But again, know your value. All right. So let's see. So as we did that, we were talking about the Philippines. I'm kind of curious now. We go back. CCNA salary, Philippines. Kind of curious. As of June of 2024, thepayscale.com reported a base salary of $454,000. But again, that's not USD. For a Cisco Certified Network Associate in the Philippines. Glassdoor.com, again, I think they're shooting high, but $35,000 to $45,000 for CCNA jobs in the Philippines in July. An average salary of $20,098 per year as an engineer in Manila. Now that shows you the difference when a CCNA in Manila and a CCNA in the United States. But again, at $20,098 and stuff, I would think you're being underbid. You should be able to get paid more money than that. But compared to what we just looked at before with the salary, I would say a CCNA certification would change a lot of people's lives in Manila. All right. So on that note, I did a little bit of homework here. I got to do a little bit of my testing. And let's see. All right. Let's see what else we got going on here. We got our music playing in the background. All right. So I could actually close these two tabs out. Again, I was just curious looking at the incomes. So what I was actually working on before, we can put, we don't need to see this again. So we'll get rid of that. Move my mic down where I can see a little bit better. All right, so pretty much what we were working on before was this CTF from the other day. So if we scroll up, and I still need to do the walkthrough and all that. What we were working on is called Symfonos. And if you click here, we can click right there. And the browser should open. Let me go to this full view here too. All right, we'll go full screen view. And we'll minimize this down for a minute. clicked it twice. So, all right, so right here, this is Vulnhub, okay? So if we come back over to my write-up, this is Symfonos. So when you click on the link, it's going to take you right here to Vulnhub. Vulnhub is where we get our images from. Now, again, this is an older box, so it just shows you it was released back on the 29th of June of 2019. Now, the cool thing about the Symfonos box, what I want to show people and stuff is, this is an actual series, right? So we could go here, see the Symfonos series. If we click here, I'm going to do a walkthrough of each one of these boxes, but I wanted to start from the beginning and we'll walk through each one. So if you see here, this is Symfonos 1, then it goes Symfonos 2, and then 3. I think it went to 3.1 if I'm correct. Yes. Then it goes to 3.1, then it goes to 4, 5.2, and 6.1. And I think that was all of the series. But again, they build upon themselves. So if you kind of look here, at the very first one, it gives you a little brief description. If I can get my computer to work correctly. So in Symfonos 1, see, it's a beginner, real-life-based machine, and it's designed to teach in an interesting way of obtaining a low-privilege shell. And again, it's going to build upon themselves. So the next CTF that I'll cover is it's an OSCP, right? So OSCP is a certification. It's a pen tester certification. It's very well known and respected. You could definitely look into it. I think they changed the name now, so it's like Pen. I don't know what is it. Pen 200. They got different categories for it. If we actually look here, we could probably type it in. So we'll go OSCP. Pull up certification. I don't want to give misleading information. All right. Yeah, see the PWK, so it's Pen 200. It's still the OSCP, but they've got different versions of it. But if we look here, it's provided by Offensive Security. Oh, it tells you about the certification. Ignite your career with Pen 200. We'll dive deep and you'll dive deep into a real-world penetration testing methodologies. And again, the OSCP is no joke. It is a little pricey. However, they give you labs. I would just say, if you're brand new, OSCP is definitely not the way. This is more for experienced people. If you're wanting to study, you could do Hack the Box. You can do Try Hackman stuff. It'll prepare you for the boxes. But if you take their actual courses, they will give you labs. It will give you everything that you need to be able to pass the certification. However, do not go in underestimated. This is a hard certification. People will say, oh, well, you got, what is it called? The Pen Test Plus by CompTIA. It's not even comparable. But again, employers and stuff, this is a very reputable and a very respected certification. If you see here, so you complete the course and pass the exam to earn the OffSec Certified Professional SCP certification, renowned for its technical rigor, which is, yes, many people have taken it, and it's kicked some butts. They got some more advanced ones, and I've had some friends that's, yeah, it'll humble you. If you go in thinking you're cocky and you're going to pass it on your first attempt, I would say it's possible, but it's definitely challenging, we'll say, very challenging. Technical rigor and the distinct requirements to demonstrate practical skills. So you get right here, see the benefits, access to all the OffSec's KAI, the knowledge all, increase the OSCP preparedness with OffSec Academy, expert instructor-led streaming sessions. I've got some friends that work in OffSec, and I'll say, yes, they're very, very technical at what they do and very good instructors. Access to recently retired OSCP exam machines. Introduction to the latest hacking tools and techniques. Training from the experts behind Kali Linux. And develop an adversarial mindset about the exam. Or shows you. The Pen 200 course and the online lab prepares you for the OSCP penetration testing certification. It's a 24-hour exam. It is a proctored exam, so you will be monitored. And you can learn more about the exam. The thing is, where I hear a lot of people, they can get through the boxes, but it's when you have to actually do your report is where a lot of people have the hangout. And I would say They do cover this, and they do got people in the community. They also have a Discord if people are unfamiliar, but a great community, and they're very helpful. So you again, nobody's going to tell you how to pass the exam, but people can lead you in the right direction to help assist you on what you might need to better focus on and learn yourself. Again, nobody's going to tell you what's on the exam because that's cheating, and nobody's wanting anybody to cheat. But again, you'll be very challenged. But again, if you need help writing the reports and stuff, many talented individuals, very informative people that will sit down and tell you how to write a good pen test report. You want to be very thorough. See, who is this course for? If we look here, it's InfoSec professionals transitioning into penetration testing. Pen testers seeking one of the best pen testing certifications, which I agree. Those interested in pursuing a penetration tester career path. So when we're saying penetration tester, we're saying ethical hacker. Okay. So ethical hacker, I know it might sound like an oxymoron, but what it is there's companies that will pay for people to come in, and again, they have a scope of project. You get to come in and try to exploit their environment by in the scope of project, because if you step out of that scope, you are just as illegal as any other criminal, right? We're not here to do malicious activities. You stay in scope of project, you try to find an attack vector, you try to find exploits, see if it will work, if you can soften up the target, and to see if you can privask or what other damage that you could do to that network. Once you get done with your scope of project, and again, they'll give you a time frame. Once you are finished with the pen test, you will write a report so you can hand it off to the developers and the engineers or their SOC, Security Operations Center, so they can now fix any of these vulnerabilities that you found. So therefore, we make enterprises and any of the platforms that you use every day, your banking, social medias, whatever, we try to make it more secure so the bad guys don't do damage and cause us headaches, which again, we all see it happen every single day. Am I saying we need more pen testers? We actually need a lot more people in the tech industry. With AI and everything coming in, people are like, "Oh, we're not going to have our jobs replaced." It is a tool. It is a useful tool that can benefit us. Things are going to be automated, so they will be slimmed down. But all these people that are trying to scare everybody and say, "Oh, all our jobs are going to be replaced, and that we won't need network engineers and all that," it's the same thing that they said at the beginning of the 20th century, right? With the assembly line and the Model T Ford. It made it more productive, more streamlined. We were able to mass produce things. This is what AI is. It is a tool that will be useful, that will benefit all of us. Could it be used for bad? Yes. Anything can be used for bad. And if we look at nuclear weapons, right? I'm not trying to go on a tangent, but if we look at nuclear weapons, it ended a war during World War II. People can agree, disagree with it. However, now the genie's out of the bottle. We have many countries that have nuclear arms. We can't make it go away. Same thing with AI. It can be used for good. It can be used for bad. The thing is, hopefully, we as a civilization can all come together, which is, I still believe, possible. But with all of our differences and all that, it's going to affect all of us in a good way or a bad way. However, we can all come up and realize that there should be some limitations. We should have some side rails. So if this thing does get out of control or get out of hand, I think it's going to be Terminator. No. Could it be? There's always a possibility. But do I really think I'm going to sit here and put the fear of God in everybody? And even if you don't believe in God, to sit here and just hype something up to where it's in infancy stages. Yes, it's very impressive. ChatGPT 3 and ChatGPT 4, and now we got 4.1. It's very impressive. And looking at its language models that it's learning on and stuff, yes, I'm very blown away by what it could do. However, the human element, some people do believe it could be replaced. I still believe people are genuine. Machines are not genuine. They're not authentic. They can only learn from what it's being taught and its models it's being taught. Now, when we start talking into sentience, that's a completely different topic. Do I believe we'll see sentience in my lifetime? I'm 52. There is a possibility. The technology could get there, but I pray that I'll be long and gone before any of these machines could become sentient. If it becomes that point, because I think what the world actually has an issue with is just realizing we're all humans at the end of the day, and we don't even respect human life as it is. So if we can't even, maybe the machines will save us from ourselves. So that's one issue. It is what it is. But again, it's the whole AI thing. I just try to tell people it's going to open up more job possibilities. And you understand, people got to program the AI. We have to program the models. When things break, we're still going to have to fix it. So I'm trying to tell you, it's going to create more jobs, just like the assembly line, that people's jobs were not replaced. People are very, what's the word I want to look for? Very, there's ingenuity, right? With any type of ingenuity and stuff, it creates more jobs. You got to think outside the box. It's new, it's different. Yes, it scares everybody all the time. But at the end of the day, too, it's refreshing, it's motivating. It's like having a child's mind, you know? They dream, they can think big things. And sadly, it's been a while. When you think about dreamers, Steve Jobs with the iPhone, to see people who have these these awesome ideas and they never come to fruition. And the things will succeed, things will fail, but at the end of the day, people try. And the thing is, uh, everything's just getting regurgitated, even on YouTube, and even with the AI and stuff. It's getting old. It's the same old, same old. And with some AI, it's refreshing. And nobody hear musicians sing. I understand this is very controversial. But hearing musicians sing that are no longer with us, be able to do songs in different genres we would have never imagined. Tupac singing a country song? Who would have ever thought? Johnny Cash rapping? Who would have ever thought? I mean, that's what's so interesting to me. It's like, wow, this is very interesting that I would have never, thought of these things that could be created. And with that creative mind and spirit, I believe there's hope. I believe it can change a lot of things. Other people feel differently about it. And again, it's not a religious, it's not philosophical. Again, we can all have those types of debates. But at the end of the day, I'm just trying to say there's plenty of jobs out there and we're creating more. And in the tech industry, when I say we need more people, I'm not into, what to say, the woke stuff, okay? I don't care about your gender. I don't care about your pronouns. I don't care about your background. I don't care about any of that. At the end of the day, what we all care about is we want competent people who have a passion for this and that actually want to contribute and make things more secure. That's on the information security side, right? Cybersecurity. But even if you're not doing cybersecurity, you could do anything on the stack. You could be a developer, ingenuity. Everybody's born with a gift, and I want to see people share that gift. There's very many intelligent people out there. And I would like to see people use these skills that they've got. We can change the world. We can make the world a better place if we truly want to. And it don't even have to just be in tech, in anything that you do, in any industry that you work in, with art, music, your singing. Share your talents. Everybody is born with a talent. I am a Christian. I'm proud to say that I'm a Christian. Christ is king. But at the end of the day, I just want to say nobody was born or created by mistake. We are all created with gifts. And even if you're not religious, okay, you don't even have to be religious to think that. Everybody is here for a purpose. Nobody's here just by accident. Now, some people we want to think that they are, we go, yeah. Some people maybe were just maybe created to be pains in our butts, right? Maybe was created to be a pain in your butt. And that's why you're watching the video. You like to be agitated, be a pain in the butt. All right. So, again, going over that, I gave you an idea what the OSCP is, okay? So, it's an intermediate, like real life base machine designed to teach the importance of understanding. Come back down here. Pull it down so we can see the description. The importance of understanding a vulnerability. It should work for both VMware and VirtualBox. And VMware VirtualBox is the hypervisors that we're using. And just to show you here, this is a hypervisor. This is VMware. VMware is now free, that they do offer, again, for educational purposes, personal use. If you're trying to use it in production, no, you have to buy a license and all that. But they now do offer this. Same thing with VirtualBox. Me personally, VMware has more tools and whistles than VirtualBox, but they're both great tools. You can check them out and see how they run. And just to kind of give you an idea how this is set up for those that might be unfamiliar and haven't watched any of my videos. If we come here, and come back to the view, we're going to minimize down so you guys could see this. Okay. If you notice here, if I go view and I come down here to customize, I can show my library. These are other virtual machines that we have. It's all running on this laptop, which is one piece of hardware. And you got to also remember there's going to be limits. So therefore, each one of these is its own personal computer, okay, or operating system. And it's going to have memory, and it's going to have storage space. Well, it's all being shared by your physical computer that you have, okay? So the more machines you have, that means the more memory you have to have. So if I try to run all these at the same time, my system could not handle that. I only have 16 gigs of memory on this computer. If I try to fire all these up, my system would crash and burn. There's no way it could support all this. However, what we're doing is we're running two boxes, okay? I got Kali and Symfonos. So the image that you do, this is Symfonos. This is running a Linux distribution. So if you look here, if we right click and I go down to the settings, it should pop up. Give it a second. Okay. If we look at the settings, if you see, I have 512 megabytes of memory that don't need a lot. Okay. There's 512 megabytes of memory just being shared with this virtual machine. It's running one processor, and I gave it 20 gigs of hard drive space, which it don't need that much, but I just wanted to give it more than it needed. You notice here it has CD DVD writer, which we don't really need. The network adapter, this is the most important part, well, besides the hardware and the RAM. But to get my Kali box, which is my attack machine, and this is the victim, they have to be on the same network. So if you notice here, we can use host only and NAT. And I'll go over all this when I do my networking classes, okay? And I do have courses that's going to be in Google Classroom, and I have a Discord. So anybody looks at my videos, if you actually look at my intro video, there's a Discord invite. If you join that, you'll get all the information that you'll need to know once I launch my classes, which is coming up real soon, because I got my first course about completed, or almost completed. I'm right at the end, but that one's going to be offered up. So my classes and stuff are going to be definitely available starting in August, and you'll work your way up through different tiers, and we'll be able to discuss in Discord. We'll be able to hang out. We'll be able to chat. We can answer questions. We'll also be able to see some karaoke, have a movie night. It's just a great place to come and meet some new interesting people. And again, it's also for my students, and I'll have special channels for you. And again, anybody can be my student. Anybody can sign up, okay? And I make it inviting for anybody from any culture. So if we look here, the way I got the network set up, it's called VMNet, okay? This is a virtual network. The reason I do this is because I'm trying to isolate it from my physical network. So therefore, we're running exploits, right? So in some of these exploits, they could break out of the VM and it could go out onto the internet. I don't want to affect any devices connected to my home network or any devices that I have, and I don't want this thing getting out into the wild either, out on the internet. So therefore, we're doing a lab environment. So we want to isolate it and secure it as much as possible. So I'm running a virtual network, okay? Now, if you look at our Kali machine, this is my Kali box, and we right click and we do the same thing here, and we go to settings. This is my attack box. Now, just to show you, it's an operating system. It's based on Linux. You see here, I'm using 4 gigs of memory, right? I only have 16 gigs that's physical on my actual device. But here I'm sharing 4 gigs, 512 megabytes for the target victim. We used 4 processors, so I gave it 80 gigs of hard drive space, okay? Now notice I'm still on the same network here, but notice I have a second adapter. This is called NAT. See, it's used to share the host IP address. This is so I could get out to the internet. I could use host only, but I just have it set for NAT so I could get out on the internet. And therefore, that's how you're being able to see the browser being able to work. If we didn't have that, we wouldn't be able to communicate with the internet. Okay. So that's why we have this. But the main thing is we want to make sure that we are the target, our victim, and us are on my Kali box are on the same network. Okay. So that's how we can hack it. So we come back over here and we can hit cancel there. And let's get rid of this. We don't need to show you the library anymore. But again, some of these labs and stuff that I got set up, these will be for my classes. So you'll see these very soon if you want to go through my classes. All right. So if we come back here, this is our Kali box. Now, if you look at Kali, I'm just saying this for brand newcomers that have never, anybody that's done cybersecurity or pen testing or hack the box, you're going to know all this, okay? There's multiple operating systems you could use. I prefer Kali. There's other ones called Parrot that you could use. If people use Arch, they're just tools, okay? So all these tools are already pre-installed on your device. Now, through my CTFs that we'll do, these capture the flags, you're going to learn some new tools and we'll run some scripts to be able to install some new tools and stuff. But all of these are all by default, okay? And if you notice, they're broke down into categories. So you got information gathering. Here's all the information gathering tools that you'll use. And again, you're not going to use all of them, but again, you have different tools for different scenarios. So we got OSINT analysis, which is open source intelligence. So let's say you wanted to find information about a certain individual, okay, or a company or a target, and we want to get as much information about them, which is like their social medias, email accounts. It's just anything that's publicly available out on the internet about individuals, corporations, and all that. And we do this all the time. So Montego is a great little tool. Spiderfoot, we'll go into a lot of these. The Harvester is a great tool. And I'll cover some of that as well in certain CTF. All right. We got the vulnerability analysis tools. So we can go through those. Web application. And these we use all the time. But Burp Suite is definitely a great tool. We're going to be using the free editions. Everything that I will be offering is always going to be free. They do got paid versions, but unless you're going to go, once you're in cybersecurity, you can pay for these tools. But thankfully, we've got the open source community, and many of these communities that make these tools, they make community editions that are free for us to learn on. So that's what's so great. When I first started, there was none of this. This used to be called Backtrack, and they had some tools, but a lot of this stuff, yes, there's so much free information and free videos in YouTube. Anybody who wants to get into cybersecurity, this is the time to do it now. You got virtual machines. We had none of this. You had to buy physical hardware back in the day. It was very expensive to get into this type of field. Again, networking and all that, the routers. All right, so we come down here, you got database assessment. We got some password attacks. We'll get into some of them. We'll get into Wi-Fi hacking. We got some wireless attacks all through here. Reverse engineering. We will use some of these tools and stuff as well. And again, we'll step through some of it. Exploitation tools. Again, different little tools that we can use. Metasploit's one of the big ones that we'll always use. Sniffing and spoofing. So again, when we're trying to, what is say, like phishing emails and stuff like that. Again, I don't want to dive deep into, there's reasons we use this, but again, this is for ethical purposes why we use these tools. Anybody can download this. These are free distributions, but again, I'm promoting ethical hacking. There could be other methods or reasonings you might use this, but again, I'm not here to promote people to do illegal activities and to, cause damage to other people or companies. Post-exploitation, these are tools that we will use after we do exploit our target, and we can get information returned back to us with a reverse shell, and there's other tools that we can go into. We have forensics tools, so if anybody wants to get into forensics or cyber forensics, if you like CSI and stuff, you'll like cyber forensics as well. There's fingerprints and stuff. physical fingerprints, but there's digital fingerprints, and it's all over the internet, and it's all over computers, and it's all over memory, and well, my last CTF actually went over one of these, autopsy. So we actually went through some of that on when we were doing a forensics report. So if you didn't get to check that video, definitely check it out. It was called 8C. I think it was called 8C, but it's a forensic CTF. It was the one that I did right before this one. And then we got our reporting tools. So these are like the tools I'm using, like Cherry Tree. This is how I take my notes. It's an older tool. They got other ones like Obsidian and stuff, which is a little bit newer. But you can take any type of tool that you want. And let's see here. All right. All right. Had some ads coming through. So if we come up here, we'll look at our Cherry Tree. And this is what Cherry Tree is set up. It looks like a notepad, okay? But it's great for taking notes. Now you can set it up. You got parent row, and you got child row. Oh, here would be the parent row, and you can break it down into different categories, right? So the thing is here, this is my walkthrough. Now what's great too is you can also take screen captures. Now, if you notice here, as with any operating system. Now another thing I'll show you too, since we're already here. It's called Undercover. This came back in, I can't remember, 2021 release, I think it was. But if you look in Undercover mode, let me minimize this down. I'll minimize this down for you. Come on. Now, let's go full screen again. I can see a little bit better. All right. I'll minimize that down. All right. Now, if you noticed here, my Linux has changed. It looks like a Windows box. Windows 10 specifically. Okay. Now, the reason you would do this and stuff is, let's say, it's not. To me, it's more of a gimmick, but it can be used this way. However, let's say you were out at a mall or you're out in public and you don't want to see somebody thinking you're doing something out of the unordinary. Well, you could use this, is what I call it, undercover mode, and it looks like you're running a Windows machine. But if you notice, when we click on the start button here, it looks like Windows, right? Looks like just like Windows. But if you notice, these are all the same tools that I was just showing you that we're running in Kali. So the GUI it looks like Windows, but it's still Kali Linux, okay? You got your sign in, you got your little power off button right here, so you can log out and quit. So again, if somebody was looking over your shoulder, they're going to think, yes, you're using Windows. Now what we could do here is we come up here, and we're going to come here again. So again, we could open up our terminal. Okay. Now when you look at it, it looks like a Windows terminal. See? C, root, but actually we're in a Linux shell. So look, oops, I hope if I type in the right keyboard, right? As you see here, see, we got our documents, our exif tool, that's a tool that I installed, but you got your pictures, your public profiles. So again, we're still in Linux. So if we close this out here, come up here. We'll come out of undercover mode. Give it a second. Now we're back to Kali. Okay, so this is the way that we all used to seeing Kali and all that. So here we've got our. So now if you look, if we right click, we can do. Oh, let's just click on it. So right here, I'm back in my terminal. Now notice this looks different than before because we wanted it to look like Windows before. So if you notice here, it says root. I'm logged in as the root user. If you're a normal user, if you first installed Kali for the first time, you're going to have to type sudo. Sudo is giving it super user, and therefore it'll make you root. So you're giving it privileges. I'm running. People would say this is if you were in a production, let's say you were out in the field, you wouldn't want to be running as root. So therefore, if somebody was able to get access to my machine, they would have full access over the machine. So therefore, you want to have it's kind of like Windows, you want to have your standard user account, then you want to have your administrator account. This is for education. and just for labbing purposes. And I don't want to always have to keep typing in my password, so that's why I do this, okay? And what's great about a virtual machine too is if your virtual machine ever does get damaged, okay, or an exploit did something, we take snapshots. So they're snapshots in time. So if something does ever happen to your device, is not, responding correctly or anything else, you can restore it back to a previous snapshot and it's in fine working order. I always try to tell my students, if you're going to install a fresh version of Kali, right, always keep a nice, updated, stable version. So therefore, if anything does happen to your Kali, you don't have to go back and reinstall everything. You lose all your work and all that. So that's what's great about actually all this. All right, so go back over here. Details are hidden while you share your screen. Okay, that's nice. All right. So if we come back over here, let's go through some of the CTF. So welcome to Symfonos 1 walkthrough. Let's begin. So the step 1 is what we're going to do is call it a command called ifconfig. So we already got our terminal open. I think I got 2 of them open actually. Yeah, let's close this one. All right. Okay, so if you look here, we're going to type in the command ifconfig. So ifconfig, right? Now once we type that in, this is the same thing as if you were in Windows and you typed in ipconfig. So we're trying to figure out our IP address. Now this is for my Kali box. So if you look here, there's a Docker container that's open, but that's not what we're looking for. But if you notice right here, it says Ethernet 0. That is our network card that you saw on that VMnet. That is where it's DHCP, and we're going to learn all this in the networking class. So if I'm using some of these acronyms and you don't know what they mean, if you stick around long enough, I'm going to have some YouTube videos. You'll learn all this in the networking. Okay. So the main thing we're looking for is this address right here. So if you notice, 192, 168, 148, 132. Okay. Now we want to find our target machine. Okay. So that's our IP address. So we make note of that. Okay. Now the thing is, since we're going to open up tabs and all that, let's open up a new tab. All right. You notice here, we can rename the session. Okay. Let's close this one back. Get back to the right tab. All right. We're going to rename the session. We're going to call this ifconfig. Okay. Again, I don't expect everybody to always do this, but newcomers, I highly recommend it. So therefore, when you take your notes and stuff, it makes it a lot easier. Oh, and another tool that I'm using is called Flameshot, and that will be my screen capture tool. And I don't think I have it open. So let's look up here. You type in here, look for your programs. There it is. And I can show everybody how to install this tool. To me, it's just a great screenshot tool, and I can do a lot of features with it. Okay, so if you notice here, we got our IP address. So the next step is we're going to rename this. We're going to call this Net Discover. Okay, Net Discover. And that's if I can type. I need to put up my external keyboard. All right. So notice Net Discover. So if we come in here, and the way these write-ups are is for any person that's never done a CTF. It's your way of being able to walk through a CTF and pop your first box. And it don't even matter how hard the challenge. This one here is more, it is a beginner challenge. It'll get into some more intermediate stuff. But again, Mr. Robot and the last one I did was intermediate as well. And I've got those CTFs up too. But again, a lot of these are the same techniques that we use all the time. It's kind of rinse and repeat, but you got to remember things will be tweaked as we go along, depending on our target and the reconnaissance and the recon information that we learn from our target. So let's begin. So we did IP config. You see right here, this is where I was taking my notes. Let's go back up. All right. Sorry, I'm getting too far ahead. Let's get past all this. All right, let's jump too far. All right. Okay, as you notice in my CTF, I also share resources, okay? So you'll see right here where I put links. If you click on these links, it tells you more. I always note at resource for you to do some more further reading if you don't understand a certain topic that I'm explaining to you, okay? And again, this is all fundamentals. So anybody that might be watching and says, oh, you know what, this guy, he's sitting here, I already know all this stuff. This is for fundamentals. I'm trying to show brand new people that's never touched a computer how to hack their first box. So yes, I know a lot of this is fundamentals and basics, but everybody needs to learn to crawl before they can walk.
It's got to be tied.
All right, so just on that note, just for any haters out there that want to sit here and talk about why is this guy talking about all these basics, this is why I do this in my videos. All right, so if I go down a little bit more, I talk about reconnaissance. And again, reconnaissance is one of the most important steps that we do in cybersecurity. Without this, this is where a lot of people make their mistakes and cause headaches. And this is why you take good notes. But if you do very good recon on your target, you can get in on your target, you know what's in place, what type of security, evasion techniques you need to use, and how to pivot through the network. And you want to be very quiet about it, but you can get in and get out. And before the SOC, Security Operations Center, can notice you on the logs and stuff, you're already gone. Okay? But again, fundamentals. A lot of these tools that we're going to be using are going to be very, very loud, and we would not use these. A lot of the stuff we would use, we do use in the real world, but not the same flags that you'll see in some of these scans. We're being very noisy. Anybody that's competent in a SOC, these are for educational purposes. That's why we've got these vulnerable machines. But in real life scenario, some of these scans we would do, you would never be this noisy. I mean, you might as well come in with a hammer or a baseball bat and start banging up everything and letting everybody know you're there. So this next command, as you notice, is net discover, and we're using this flag called -I, which is interface. And we're going to use that interface of ETH0, as you saw before, that I showed you in our ifconfig scan. So we come back over here. And when you type this, we're going to paste it. See, so net discover -I ETH0. And I'm not trying to talk down to people like they're stupid or they don't understand. I'm just trying to keep it very simple. I think by visually seeing it, you can register it in your brain and then you'll be able to apply it. So as you notice, ETH0, right? That's the interface we're going to use. So we can figure out what other, what to say, devices are on this network. Okay. So here, I'm going to type enter. It's going to start scanning. Now, if you noticed up here, it's still scanning this subdomain. So 192, or IP range, sorry. 192.168 dot, right? If you notice back over here, 192.168, once it hits the 148 domain, it's going to now look, if it finds this 132 ad, it's going, when it starts going through these addresses, as long as these three match, that's our network. All we want to do is find out this last number, but we want to make sure it's in this network. If it's in a different network, we're going to have a hard time connecting to it. Therefore, we'd have to be on that network. So that's why our configuration in that VMnet is why we set it up this way. We want to make sure we're in the same network range. So if you now notice here, 192.168.148.1, okay. Again, some basic networking, but you'll learn all this later. This is my router, okay? We're going to also have one that's going to pop up. It'll be a loopback. But you notice we see this odd one right here, 134 or 132. 134 looks pretty interesting. Now, on a normal scan, if I wasn't in a virtual machine, see this MAC vendor host name right here? This would actually be your MAC address of your hardware that's on your device. Notice this MAC address. These are all virtual. This is given to it being assigned by the virtual machine. Right here, you would actually have different vendors. Okay, so whatever your Ethernet card is, whatever hardware it's being scanned, that information will be popping up here. We're saying VMware because we're in a virtual machine. So we're waiting for this scan to get done. And right here, we already got the information we need. So actually, we can go. Sorry. If you go Control-Alt-Z, it'll suspend it, okay? So we just ended up, we get back to our prompt. So we're looking at this 134. So if you look up here in our notes, I've showed you the scan. I'll tell you some more about ARP. If you notice, 134 right here, see? You didn't see this 254 come up because I didn't wait for it, but this is called a loopback. You'll learn more about that in the networking. But this is the main address that we're looking for, our target machine of 134. So let's go down. Let me pull this up. There we go. All right, so we can see the full screen on here. Now, I gave another scan that we could do. It's a lot quicker. It's just an ARP scan, okay? And again, I give you some information and stuff, tells you about ARP and stuff, but it comes up with the same information to just be a lot quicker, okay? So 134, again, our target device. So step 3, we're going to run a port scanner, and this is called nmap. So if you notice here, we have this nmap command, okay? Nmap is used to identify common ports, TCP and UDP, that are open closed on the network, okay? So there's a reference that I put here that you can go look at and stuff. It's an nmap cheat sheet. It tells you about all the flags and stuff that can be used when we're doing nmap scan. Nmap is, like I said, it's a utility that we use as network administrators to be able to keep an eye on our networks, okay? So practice learning nmap and different, with my bottle out of the way, and different flags and use cases. See, the quieter you become, the more you're able to hear Kali state. So this nmap command that we're going to use is, we got to say the tool we want to use, which is nmap, and then we're going to put these flags under case sensitive, okay? So you got -A, -SC, -PN, and 192 of our target victim. And I'm going to show you exactly right here what these flags mean. Okay, so if we scroll down, there's a lot more, but these are the ones we're going to use. The capital A, as you see here, is going to enable the operating system detection and the version detection. It's going to do some script scanning. You see the small s, capital C? This is going to run script default. The PN flag, capital PN, you notice here, do not send ICMP packets. Again, this is more in the networking class, okay? But there's some other ones we could use, which would be SS, which is the TCP send scan. We could specify ports, which would be the P port number. And again, there's 65,535 ports, as you see here. And we can set any range that we want to do. But what we're going to do is have it scan all the ports, okay? And give us the information back. So let's come back up here to our terminal. And here, we can go File. There's also a hotkey I didn't show you guys. But if you go Control-Shift-T, say right here, Control-Shift-T, you can open it up with a hotkey. So you can do it either way, okay? So I'm just going to go New Tab. I'm going to rename this one. And we're going to call this nmap, okay? Nmap.
Teams help members find a smart plan at an even smarter
I'm going to
price.
type our target, 192.168.148, right? Is that it? I think I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me... 134, I think is what it was. Just to make sure. 148.134. Yep, okay, same address. All right, so we're going to copy our paste right there. And now let's run the scan against our target. So you see, nmap is starting up. And in my write-up, that's what I said, I take all these screenshots so you'll be able to follow along and play along at home. And in my classes, I supply all these write-ups and the PDFs. So therefore, you don't have to watch a video. Some people like to watch a video. Some people like to read through a PDF. So however you like to learn, whatever's more convenient for you. And the first course that I'm going to be doing is we're going to be using Git.io, which is like a GitHub repository. So I'll show everybody how we set this up. And we're going to host our own website through Git. Now, it's a static website. And we're going to use a static generator called Hugo. And the reason I want people to do that is, one, you're going to be able to share your journey. So therefore, you can do your write-ups. You'll be able to take all your text, all your pictures. And therefore, you're going to be able to share it. Now, again, This is a static website, so it's very limited on what it can do. But you can put links, you can put YouTube videos, and it's hosted for free, all on GitHub. So they host it. All right. So if we look at this information that was returned back to us here, what is going on? Why can't I see my? All right. Get rid of these. Scroll down. Gotta stay caught up so you guys can see here. They return 5 results. So if you notice here, we've got a port 22. I want to show you here on the picture. I'm going to show you in the scan too. Why is it not showing the port numbers though? Huh. Did I take this net a mile the way over? Yeah, okay. I was trying to make sure I didn't take the wrong picture. So if you notice here, yes, we got 22 or 22. It says it's open and it's an SSH. If you also notice there's a host key here and it's an RSA key. This might come in valuable later, okay? Right here, we got an SMTP server. And again, you're going to learn all these acronyms throughout the CTF. And I share these in the write-ups so you'll understand more about it. We have a port 80 open, which is, a lot of us are very familiar with this. You use it every day. HTTP, okay? Again, this means it's unsecure. And it's telling you it's an Apache server that's being hosted, okay? And we know it's 139 is open. It's a Samba server, and 445 and another Samba. So, and it's telling you the type of work group that it is and type of operating system. So if we go down, we can see we're running Linux. There's some host name information, blah, 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 blah. All right. So if you notice here, I'll show you in the write-up. So I'll tell you, say we return 5 results. Port 22 SSH, 25 SMTP, port 80 HTTP, port 139, which is a Samba server, and port 445. Okay, now we know more about our target. This is called Recon. We can clearly see port 80 HTTP is open and is hosting an Apache website. Yeah, once again, young Padawan, patience is virtue. Let's continue more Recon. So the next scan we're going to do is called Nikto. And it tells you right here, Nikto, it's an open source scanner. It's similar like Nmap, but it's going to give us some more information about the target that we're going to be doing the recon on. So if you take this command here, and I give you some resources as well. If you look up here, there'll be some resources, and it tells you about Nikto. And this is going to be the information that we're going to see from Nikto. And I'll step through this in just a second. So let's get this command going. Go File, new tab, go Nikto. I have to type it in the right space here. All right. Go back, get rid of that. I'm going to paste. Why is it not going through? I want you guys to be able to see when I want you to be able to copy and paste this so you don't have any mistakes. That's why I like walking through this. Make sure you guys won't have any issues. Again, you can type it in. I would say at the very beginning, just copy and paste so you can understand the commands, and then we'll start typing just in case there's typos. And again, that's how you'll learn. There it goes. So if you notice here, Nicto, we're going -H, which is our flag, which is the host, and therefore we're going to give it the target victim's address. We're going to let the Nicto scan run, and then there's going to be another recon we're going to do. It's called DERB, okay? And the next step of this, get down there, show you. As you see here in the Nicto scan, it's going to return back. We get these directories. So it's looking for directories, okay? So we're going to get back this manual directory, manual images directory, and this icons readme, as you see, like I've posted here, okay? So if you navigate to your target's IP address, which we're about to do in just a second, and this manual, and try each directory, you probably get the same results as I, and you found nothing. However, we shall leave no stone unturned and dig a little deeper, more recon. So while we're sitting at it, let's open up our browser. I had a browser. Okay, I think I closed it. Let's open up our browser. And we're going to type in our address here, okay, of our target. So 192.168.148.134. Okay. Now you can do this too, :80, but your browser's smart enough to realize it's going to open up a web page. But we're going to look at port 80, okay, which is our HTTP, if you recall. And those that are unfamiliar, let's come back here to our nmap, just so I can show you again. In case they missed, right there. See, port 80 HTTP, and there's a big list of 65,535. Might just quit playing. Let's get some more music going. Here we go. All right. So we'll come back into our browser. All right. Enter. As you see, we get a picture. Okay. Now the thing is, just because you see a picture on a site, it can mean multiple things. There could be hidden information in here, maybe some metadata. That's where we could use like EXIF tool. However, I can tell you that's not here. We can also right click on it, right? And if we come down here, we can inspect the element, right? So if you look here, these are some tools that are built in, but you can also have this in your own browsers. But see, we can actually look and see, is there any information that's in here? So we can use our inspector. We can also, if we had a shell, we can use the console. We could, communicate back and forth with it. It gives you a lot of information. Again, this is more of a developer tool, but right now we're not going to need to use that. All right. So as we see, there's nothing here. And I said, if we went / what, manual, wasn't it? Manual. Let's look at this. Oh, see, there's the manual link. It's just telling us that the Apache server, which we already realized, but now we can confirm it is version 2.4. There could be some exploits in this, so we could look this up in a thing called exploit database, okay? But we're not going to get too far ahead of ourselves. But that could be another resource that we use here. Close that browser. Okay. So if we come back over to our cherry tree again, we also have, say, manual images. Again, we could look through each one, but I've already done this for you to save you some time. So as you see, there was no resources we found here. So we're going to do some more recon. Now, the next step we're going to do is called a DERB scan, which is called Directory Buster. Now, there's all sorts of other tools. You don't have to use these same tools that I'm using. There are some more newer, updated tools. So you got, what's it? Buff. They got, it's a fuzzing that goes through directories and stuff, but it's really good too. But right now, we're going to stick with some just basic, good old ones that I know definitely work. Because again, these are just nothing but tools, okay? So we're going to do our DERB. So we want to say what tool we want to use. We're going to give it this HTTP address, and we're going to give it the target, right, of 134. So we come back over here. We got Nicto scan. Let's do another one. So open a new tab. We're going to type in our command here. Let's rename this. Let's call it DERB. DIRB, right? DERB. Okay. Now let's let this run. Now this will take a little bit. So if we look back at our Nicto scan, and I already showed you the images, but let's see in our actual terminal what it came back with. So if you look through here, see it tells us right here it's running a server Apache 2.4.25, which we already just verified. You can look through some other, sometimes it'll also tell you maybe some exploits and stuff that it might be vulnerable to. So it gives us some suggestions. So if we look down through here, this is the same information we just saw. See manual, web server manual found, directory indexing found right here with manual images, Apache default found. See the default file there's a README file. Sometimes you can find flags or other information in here. That's what we're looking for in a CTF to capture the flags. And you'll see what the flags look like once we get to our first flag, which we're getting close to. Okay. So we let derb go through. And just to show you the results, it's going to come back from derb. So I'm showing you some of the results here. But this is just a small excerpt of our derb scan. Once again, we found nothing useful. However, we did learn a new tool, which you're going to learn, which is derb. A day in the life of a pen tester never ends. So we continue to push forward and more recon. So good news, we do know from our Nmap scan is that there is an SMB, which is Samba, on this box on ports 139 and 145. We have a tool where we can gather more info on the target. Let's try it, shall we? Again, I break it down. Enumeration is the process of gathering information on a target in order to find potential attack vectors and aid in exploitation. This process is essential for any attack to be successful, as wasting time with exploits that either don't work or can crash the system and can be disastrous. Enumeration can be used to gather usernames, passwords, network information, host name, application data, services, or any other information that may be valuable to an attacker. Well, step 6, we're going to use a fun tool called enum for Linux. So it's enumeration for Linux, okay? If you do not already have this enum for Linux installed on your Kali box, which remember, this isn't pre-installed, so we're going to install it manually. It's a simple command, and what we're going to do now, right here, I'm telling you guys to use sudo because you're not going to be normally logged in as root. Since I'm root, I don't need to use the sudo command. But for you guys that are logged in as a standard user, you're going to have to use the sudo command. So I'm going to copy this. And just to show you what it looks like, I already got it installed, but we're just going to be able to show you guys. All right. So if you notice here, I'm not typing sudo because as you see, I'm already root. So we're going to paste this command. And that's going to go out on this application. It's going to get and install enum for Linux. So that's how easy it is. Click. So it's reading the package list. It goes out. It's looking for it. And then it'll tell you when it's installed. So if you see the following packages were automatically installed and no longer required. See, so it's telling me the libraries that it installed and it don't need that anymore. Okay. So now it's installed on my machine. All right. Pretty simple. But now if we go back through, actually, you know what? I want to take a picture because I didn't put a picture yet. So while I'm doing this, I'm also creating the walkthrough and the images so you guys can kind of see. This is what I was doing the other day before my system crashed. So let's come back up here. And now we can use our tool that I was showing, my screenshot tool. So what we're going to do here is we're going to right click on this, or sorry, left click. And we take a picture of my screenshot. Just make your little box. I like to get the whole thing. And then if you notice here, we can copy, we can save our image, we can upload it to the cloud. So you get a lot of different features here. You can also use marker, you can underline text if you wanted and stuff. So again, you can add a lot of extra little features. All I need to do though is just copy this little section, come back up to my cherry tree. And let's see, right here, we're gonna hit enter. We're gonna click, paste, put my picture in, hit enter again. And as you now see, I've got what I needed here. And I'm going to come up here, just bring this, delete this part here. get the text a little bit closer to the picture. There we go. Okay. So right here, see resource, enumerate SMB with enum for Linux, see, and SMB client. So I give you a resource so you can learn more about enumeration on an SMB client, which we're about to do. So we scroll down. So pretty much the way this simple command works is we're going to just name our tool. So we're going to use enum Linux if we want to run it against our target of H34, which is the Symfonos box. So we're going to copy that, come back over here. And let's make a new one, new tab. Let's call this enum for Linux. Got that. We got the command there. Now let's rename it. So we'll say enum for Linux. All right. Hit OK. Now let's hit our OK button here to run it. All right. Now it's going to give us a lot of information. And I'll show you what information is going to be returned back. So I'm going to take some screenshots of this as well. And I'm going to show you what sticks out. So if you notice, see, yay, we get some user share info back. And I'm just going to take a couple of screenshots of this because there's a buttload of information comes back that we're not going to need all that. So if you notice here, it came back. This information is the vital information, but you're going to see there's a lot. It comes back with these share names, right? We got two accounts here. We got three. We got this print one, which is printer drivers, but then we got this personal share, right? As being on this disk. There's an account called Helios and one called Anonymous. That is very vital. See, two share directories are found, right? Let's say Samba, right? So it's a sharing, it's a hosting sharing platform where you can get files and directories from. So it says two shared directories are found. There's Helios and Anonymous, as we notice here. And one printer drive is found. But we don't care about the printer drive. We also have uncovered that the anonymous mapping, okay? So what we could do here is we're going to see if we can log in with this anonymous account. So if you see in the scan, I'll show you once it's finished. It's going to come back and map, and it's going to tell us, see, mapping's denied, but the anonymous account says mapping was okay. And there's a listing. So that means we can get access to this anonymous account. Now the thing is there a password that could be in play here? That's what we're going to find. Now the thing is, we're hackers. So even if there is a password that we might be unfamiliar, we can possibly we could do social engineering to see if we could get a password. We could do a phishing campaign to see if we could get a password or have them click on a link. Or we could do a brute force. Now again, this is the CTF, so we're going to be very noisy and loud. And in a real world scenario, this is where, again, you want to kind of think maybe a phishing campaign, some way to have this person give you over some credentials so we can get onto their device. So therefore, maybe we don't even have to log in. If we could get remote access to their device, we're already behind a firewall. We don't need a password because we're already on their computer. Now, the thing is, that's not our attack vector here, okay? So we're going to use this Samba server, and we're more than likely there's going to be a password. So this is what we need to try to see if we could either crack it or somehow if we can evade or get around this, okay? It says, no, we also may have some useful information when it comes to password policy if we may need to brute force the password, okay? So if you notice here, it says it retrieved the partial password policy with the RPC client. The password complexity is disabled. So that's very useful information. So there's no password complexity, and the minimum password length is only 5 characters, see? 5. So also, let's take a note that we have uncovered a user account called Helios. And if you notice right here, it gives us this UID, and it's telling us Symfonos of Helios, and they're a local user, okay? Now the thing is, they don't have administrative rights, but they are a local user. So if we could still get onto this account, once we get a foothold on it, we can escalate privileges. And therefore, we can hopefully get to the root account, and we will become God row, is what it's known as. All right, so let's come back up here. Okay, so well-known security identifiers in Windows operating systems, right? So there's a Microsoft, and I tell you some security identifiers. This is a resource that you guys can look at. Okay, we have enough info to attack our target, do we? So let's see, patience is key. And as pen testers, we like to do to dot our I's and cross our T's and be thorough. Before we continue, let's loop back around and check our port 80 and see if we may have missed any vital recon. And I like to do this sometimes because sometimes we get in a hurry with our recon and we just want to go after and see, run our exploit and get a foothold. But sometimes we got to take our time and the intricacies. Some of those little breadcrumbs that we miss become very vital later on, especially in a real world scenario. Recon, and take your time. Again, you don't take forever because you do have a scope of project. You have a time limit, right? But you want to be as thorough for your client as possible. That's what you're getting paid for. You're not getting paid just to break stuff. You're there to find thinking outside the box, okay? Trying to outsmart the developers. And again, there's human error all the time as well. So up here, all we see is a picture. Let's check out the HTML and view its source code, as we may find anything useful. Now, this is what I was showing you before. If we view the source code on it, we could see sometimes there might be flags or other information, or let's say metadata, that could be embedded in the picture. Now, we can use tools for that, or we can just look at the code. As we see right here, nothing really useful, okay? So again, nothing useful except the image JPEG. Let's download the image and check possibly hidden metadata. Let's explore, shall we? See, once we download, we need to navigate to our downloads folder. Now again, we can download this, and the reason I'm doing this is I want to expose a tool to all the users. As we see, an index JPEG, we just download, let's run, and we're going to run some string commands on it and see if we find anything. So this is just a sample of the strings output. So if you look through here, this is output. After scrolling through the strings of output, say I found nothing useful. Sometimes in these strings, you might find a password. You might find some type of encrypted text, okay? I'm just trying to open your mind to see different methodologies we could use from the recon that we've got to just look into some of the information. Some of the other CTFs, there was valuable information in the pictures. So therefore, it goes into a lot more detail. So I was trying to build off CTFs. I'm just trying to get your brain thinking of the techniques and the technology, or to say the techniques that we're going to use. With, again, it could be hidden information. Okay, so after scrolling through the strings and output, I found nothing useful. We could explore further using exif tool, yet this would be a rabbit hole in the CTF, yet always great to explore. That's one thing about CTFs too, sometimes they do send us down rabbit holes. And you'll be digging and digging, and it has nothing to do with the CTF. However, sometimes going down the rabbit holes, you do learn some interesting tidbits of information about your target. And sometimes they're just Easter eggs and they're fun, like a game. But again, you could also use this in the real world. But again, you don't always want to spend all your time at one thing. Always be moving. Always be doing something. Now, what I'm showing you here is just basics. But the thing is, while you got scans running, you're looking through your data. You're trying other different type of attack vectors, different recon. You always want to stay busy. Remember, your time is worth money. You are getting paid. But again, be very thorough and be able to understand the information and the attack that you're trying to set up. All right, so I showed you getting hidden data from images and how to recover and remove, edit personal information from photos. So I give you an article on that. Let's continue once again on our enumeration findings and with enum for Linux and try out our findings. Let's go. So step 8, we're going to use a tool called SMB client. We need to check the directory permissions. If only there was a tool How about learning a new tool? This is called SMB Map or SMB Client, perhaps. Resource, a little guide to SMB enumeration. Again, right here, take a look at the resource and learn more information. So again, just because what I'm showing you, it can be monkey see, monkey do, but I want you to learn. That's the whole purpose of this. All right. So, okay, let's try SMB Client on the anonymous account. So what we're going to do is we're going to run this here. Make sure that address is, yeah, see, this is different. I need to update this. I thought that number looked different. So 134. So we're going to now run this. When I wrote this up, the HCP had assigned a different IP address. All right, so we're going to copy. And this one, we'll call it SMB Client. And I still got to take these pictures here. What was this? Oh, I thought we renamed this one. Wait a minute. That's right. So we did one where we were installing it, then we ran our enum for Linux. So let's open up a new one. We're going to call this SMB Map. SMB
Get
Map.
long, strong hair without spending $60. Pantene Infinite Lengths with biotin and collagen.
Where's my
Get
capsule?
6 times longer lasting freshness plus odor protection with Downy Unstoppables. Try for under $5.
Okay, so let's paste our selection. So there's our SMB client. We're going to see if we can connect with Anonymous. So say there is a password. So if we come back up here, see, enter the word group, try help to get a list of possible commands. Yay, it worked. See? Entered anonymous share. Now, isn't that funny? It says try help to get a list of commands. So the thing is, even though we just logged in here, right? It says we need a password, but is that a ploy? Let's just hit enter. Looky there. By hitting enter, there is no password that was set. So now, as you see, our prompt changed. We're on the SMB client now. Pretty interesting, huh? Again, that would be very insecure. Always put a password. Never to sit here and leave a password blank so somebody can hit enter. But again, it's a CTF, so it's for educational purposes. All right, so as you see, we are now on the Samba server, okay? Or our Samba client. Well, let's advance a little more. So if we come down here, again, basic navigation commands. With our SMB, we're going to ls, okay? So this is a list, and it's going to list those files and directories that are in this server. So if you notice, once we hit ls, it's going to come up attention.txt here. So let's try that. So we go ls, and as you notice, right there, attention.txt, right? Now, the thing is, we want to get this file, but we want to see if we actually have permissions to do so. Let's look here. See, we now can see a file called attention text. So if we go get attention text, this is going to be able to take that file and save it to our machine, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to get the file, and then it's going to get the file for us. We're going to exit our Samba server, and then we're going to cat it. Cat it means it's going to, if we cat a file, it's going to present it to us. You're going to be able to read it, okay? So can users please stop and see, we're about to see some information here. So let's do it in order. So we're going to get it. Let's copy. Come back up here. And again, I'm trying to make this dummy proof. So I want to make sure that my write-up is accurate. So anybody that uses it is going to get the exact correct information and be able to finish this box. So we hit paste. So as you now notice, it says you got the file. So if you look back next, what do we got to do? We're going to exit. right? And then we're going to cat it. So we come back up here, we exit out. All right. And now you want to cat the file. So let's come back up here. Again, you could type it all in, but again, if this is your first time, I would prefer you copy and paste. Just in case there's misspellings or anything else. So as you notice here, it says, can users please stop using passwords like Epidioco, QWERTY, and baseball? Next person I find using one of these passwords will be fired. Huh. I notice what it said. Using one of these passwords by some person named Zeus. Okay. Now the thing is, we're on an anonymous account. So they sent this text file out for everybody to look at. So we now notice it looks like these are each one of these are passwords. Now we don't know what these passwords are used for, but we do know in our recon we saw another Samba server, and as well we also know there's a Helios account, and as well we also noticed there was an SSH account. So maybe, just possibly, we're going to take note and put these in our cherry tree, our note taker, and keep. We're probably going to come back and use these passwords, okay? So if we now notice here, let's scroll down.
Get long, strong hair without
We see the
spending
email.
$60.
See, this is definitely something we can try. We have 3 possible passwords: Epidoco, QWERTY, and baseball. Anyone remember? We had another user, Helios. Let's try logging in with one of these passwords. Now, if you now notice, if we type in SMB client, right? That's what we want to connect to. We're going to, I got to change this here. Sorry. And we're going to log in with this account, Helios, and dash user of Helios, right? Let's open up a new tab. Let's call this one SMB Helios. SMB Helios. Okay. I'm going to type in this command right there. Let's see if we can log in. Okay, now it's asking us for a password. Now the thing is, I wonder if we can use one of those passwords we saw. So try help. Let's say enter word group Helios password. Try help to get a list of password commands. Okay, we used the U for the Helios on my second attempt, and QWERTY was our password. WOOOHOO. Okay. Again, you can try all 3. If it don't work the first time, you're going to log back into that SMB client with the user of Helios and see if we could get it. Okay. We're going to just copy this password. But we know it's going to be one of them, right? Let's see if this works. I'm going to paste it. Let's hit enter. Bingo. So, see, we're in SMB again, so we're back on the server. So what we want to do is, see, awesome, we're in. See, let's explore some directories and files. So we're going to hit ls, and now if you notice here, we get 2 more files. We're going to get a research text and a to-do text, okay? Let's double check and see how this, make sure everything's working correctly here. Yes, see, research and to-do, okay? So what we want to do here, possibly like last time, we want to get, and we also want to do a cat, right? So let's scroll down. So let's download and review both these files, shall we? So we're going to get research text, and then we're going to get to-do text, okay? And once we get them, we will do our cat. So let's go get research. Copy this. Come back over. All right. So it's got the file. Come back over again. Get the to-do. Research looks like that might actually be pretty interesting. I mean, then they got the to-do list, so that might be interesting as well. But the research is the one I really want to look at. Okay, so we got both those. And if we come back up here, say let's cut our research text in the to-do file. So let's do the first one. I'm going to cat it, copy and paste. Oh, I'm still on the server. Hold on. Sorry about that. We got to exit. Now we can cat it. Okay, so it says Helios, also Helios, was the god of the sun in Greek mythology. He was thought to ride a golden chariot which brought the sun across the skies each day from the east in Ethiopia to the west, Hesperides. Well, at night he did return journey in leisurely fashion, lounging in a golden cup. The god was famously the subject of the Colossus of Rhodes, the giant bronze statue, considered one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. Okay, that's not that great. So let's see, to do, right? Let's try to do. All right. So in their list here, they've got binge watch Dexter, dance, and work on. Now notice this is spelled differently. This is like leet speak. This Helios. And that's the account we're in on the Samba server. So they need to work on that. So what exactly is that? And let's double check and let's see. So we went through here. I need to make some screenshots again too. Okay, we got our to-do, right? Binge watch Dexter, right? Dance, work on Helios. We don't need this here. I don't know why that's there. All right. I need to start adding some screenshots again. But I think I'll do that after we finish, possibly. And my neck's kind of hurt. I want to take a break. Oh, we've been going for what, 2 hours now? And again, there was some goofing around at the very beginning and all that as well. All right, I want to at least get to at least 1 flag. I was going to say we can pause, then I can come back on a stream, and we can pick up part 2 instead of just going all the way through. But let's see. After reading the research text file, okay, the mythological Greek god, which may be useful later on, you never know, it is a CTF, and these are the Easter eggs I'm talking about. However, the to-do text may be some interest. They want to binge watch Dexter, not already seen it. It is a good show. Dance, not at the moment. We are busy pen testing, maybe later. And yet 3. Work on Helios. That looks like a directory possibly. Let's navigate the Symfonos and check it out. So if we notice here, when we navigate through this file here, and again, this is a different address, so that's why I gotta switch this CTF up when I'm making my notes. Let's type that in, okay? So we said Helios. So we're going to copy this. Come back up to our browser, right? Now let's see what comes up here. So there's our target, and here's this Helios. Let's see what comes up.
6 times longer lasting freshness plus odor protection with Downy Unstoppables. Try for under $5.
So I was saying, skip content, there's a Helios site, but notice, just another WordPress site. So we know this is a WordPress site. And the thing is, with WordPress, there's plugins, so we can find, and we also have some other passwords. So if they had the login PHP file, we could try to log in there and maybe use those credentials that we found from earlier. Or we can also run a WP scan, which is a WordPress scan, which is again more recon, which is always great because we need to always do recon. So again, I'm trying to think further ahead. So let's see. That appears to be a WordPress site. However, after looking at the links, they appear to be broken, or are they? After close examination, we notice the path. HTTP Symfonos Helios is the WP login PHP. That's what I was saying, a login. So Symfonos local. It's a local hosted WordPress. How can we view a local WordPress install? Well, we are pen testers, so let's use our Jedi powers and our skills. Hoorah. If you were thinking the Etsy host and adding the URL, you would be correct. Woohoo, let's do that now. But the thing is, when you click on links, an Etsy host is it's a list of hosts that allows our browser to be able to connect to them, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to go and edit them, and we're going to probably, let's say, we'll probably do this in Nano. This will probably be the easiest way to do it. And then we'll just add this target, the local device, into our Etsy host list, okay? So, in other words, let's just do it, and I'll show you what we're talking about here, okay? So, let's come back up here. We're going to go File, New Tab, and we're going to call this Etsy. Or this is called Etsy Host, okay? Etsy Host. So what we want to do here is we're going to go CD. We're going to go Etsy, okay? Wait, what directory am I in? Let's see, what directory am I in? Oh, I'm stupid. All right, sorry. CD. Nice if I can type. Okay, so now we're into Etsy file, right? So if you go ls, as you see here, we can see all these directories and files that's in our Etsy folder, okay? What we want to do is we want to go, since we're already in Etsy, we want to go CD. We're looking for a host. I thought it was host. What? This is driving me batty. Are we not in the Etsy directory? We're in Etsy. Let's see. CD. Let me copy it. Make sure I'm not telling you something wrong. We're in Etsy host. Right. We already CD'd into Etsy. Oh, stupid. I'm sorry. I'm feeling for a cigarette, and I think my brain's going kaput. Alright. Oh, if you look here, let's just do it step by step so I don't get too far ahead of you guys. Okay, so CD Etsy, okay? Once you're in here, now, host is already here, so we're going to nano that host file. And if you look through here, you can go ls, I just want to show you the file that we were looking for. I should go to scroll up right here. I just want to show you so you can understand. Okay, see right here, host. This is a file, okay? These are directories. So we went to nano, which would be opening like WordPad or Notepad, okay? All we want to do is we want to open up an editor to edit this file so we can add it. So we're going to use the tool called nano, so N-A-N-O. Yeah, let's keep playing. All right, got to get some more music going. So we're going to nano, and we're going to type in the host file. It'd be nice if I could spell host correctly. Okay. This is nano. As you see, it's an editor. So we can now scroll down with our navigation bar here. As you see right here, I type in 192.168.148.134, which is our target, right? I'm going to hit space just to show you right here. Go through my notes. Okay. And we're going to type symfonos.local. Okay. And then you'll see it change in just a second. All right. As you see right here, we're going to, that's our target, which I need to take a different image, but you're going to type symfonos.local. Okay. So let's come back here. All right, so now, once you get done here, we're going to go Control X, which is going to exit. Okay. It's going to say, do we want to save it? We type yes. The file name or host, you don't have to type anything unless you want to rename it, but we're just going to leave it at default. Now it's been saved. Okay. But now we come back up here. Next, you hit Control X, which will save our file. And once saved, let's try to navigate to our Symfonos in our browser. Okay. Let's scroll down. So if you now notice, if we type in Symfonos local Helios, we should be able to find it. Okay. Let's come back up here, back to our browser. Get this out of the way. Wasn't there a link? Scroll down. Symfonos.local. And what was it? How do they spell Helios? Wasn't it lead speak? It was H3, right? H3L105. All right, here we go. What? No. See if it'll navigate there. Did I change it to 134 though? I did, didn't I? There it is. Okay. As you see here, see, Symfonos local. I clicked on the link and now reassign it. So it says hello world. So if we scroll down through here, let's see what's on this WordPress site. So we got an image, recent post, hello world. They got some archives of June 19, 2019. Meta, looks like some a login, entries, comments, WordPress. Okay. Let's look here. Let's go back down. Okay, so now you should see a working WordPress directory if you correctly added a Symfonos local to your Etsy host. Let's continue. Let's try to enumerate our target's WordPress site and find any vulnerabilities possible with a WP scan, which I mentioned earlier. And now the new tool we're going to learn is called WP scan. And the way this works is you got to type in WP scan --URL, and we're using Symfonos local as Helios account. So let's copy that. And I give you a resource that talks about WordPress WP scan. Come back up here. And where are we at here? Okay, there's our Etsy.
should say the words are hard fight. Running out of stamina, I see it in your eyes. Let me feel like we could reignite like fireflies. Whenever you can't sleep at night, I'll be the one that will hold you tight. Whatever emptiness inside, I feel it up, make it feel alright. Cause I'm never giving up.
Okay, so now what we need to do here is we want to CD. We're going to go back. Don't need to be in the Etsy host anymore. We're going to get back to our root folder. Okay. What we're going to do here is we're going to run our WP scan. So we're going to paste our selection. Now let's rename this WP scan. WP scan. Hit OK. And let's run it on our target. Give it a second to start. Okay, WP scan starting. Sometimes it has to update the database, so we might have to say yes to that. All right, let's go a little bit forward so I can see some of the results. That's going to tell us. I think it should show us some plugins too. So if you see through the WP scan, it tells us our headers. We got some XML that's going to talk about right here. README HTML. So it's giving me directory file structure of the WordPress site itself. So there's an upload directory, has a listing enabled. Okay, so it does have WP content uploads directory. It's got a cron job, seems to be enabled. Okay, interesting. It's telling us the version of WordPress. So it's WordPress version 5.2.2 was identified. It's unsecured and it was released on 2019. So that's another attack vector we can look at. Telling us there's a theme that's in use, which is called 2019. So that's old. So again, a lot of these plugins, we can find vulnerabilities. And it tells us the confidence rate of it is 80% confident. That's doing passive detection. Got us some plugins identified. There's one called Melmaster. There's a site editor. Enumerating config backup because there's a backup. No config backups were found, so that's not useful. Okay. Okay, WP scan gave us results. Yeah, what if we could find something more useful, like user vulns? Well, let's see. Oh, Jack, which is me, would never leave you stranded and have always something to share with your peeps. No, this next part is optional. You can register for free to use an API, which gives you up to 25 free scans a month. It's a free tier. Or if you choose to pay for PayPal, you can get more options. If you choose to do pen test engagements as a career, if you choose to opt out, then no fear. You can view my results and still play along. Either way, you win. It's a win-win for you. If you choose to register, you can use this link, and it's wpscan.com API. Okay, let's use WP scan once again, and with an API token, which is given to you through the site once you register, you can check out my results. And again, for people that didn't want to do it, the way that the command will be, as you can see right here, it's a WP scan. You're going to use the -- URL with here. Now we're going to use this API token, and then we use the token that they provide you, and we're going to use these flags, enumerate the ports and users, okay, or passwords and users. So if we come back down here, I just want to show you what is going to return the value back to me in case you don't want to sign up or register, which again is not mandatory. So with all this information, as you see, that's gives me back more information the way you originally seen on the original WP scan. So that Melmaster pops up again. There's a site editor, which we already saw earlier with the plugins. Now, if you notice here, it says users identified, admin, right? So I did find an admin account. And then there's the WordPress Vuln database. API is okay. API. Okay, now that is much better, don't you think? we can now use search exploit and look up Mailmaster WordPress plugin. Well, we already found that in the original results. But again, in that plugin, let's look up Mailmaster. Well, I put here how to install search exploit, and I give you the website for it. Using a quick search in search exploit for master search, we find some results. So if we say here, we can look it up. So we'll go right here in exploit database and search exploit. We can copy. Go back over here to our browser. Let's paste search exploit in. And then we want to look up, what was it called again? Master, right? And this is showing right here, it's going to be a local file inclusion. Okay. Again, it also says a SQL injection as well. Okay. But what we want to do is this, we're going to type in, what was it called again? I keep forgetting. Master. Well, this is exploit database. Whoops. Be nice if I can get back up. Okay. This is search exploit. And in exploit database, we can actually search things up. Okay. So if we come back over here. This is the manual. The search exploit. Okay. It says how to install search exploit in Linux and all that. So we can look it up right here. So as you see, sudo apt update exploit database. So we can do this all through Linux, but I'm also going to show you a website that we can do it through with exploit database. So if we just go back to exploit database, we can also type it in here. So let's type it in right there. If you notice, see WordPress plugin master. See, there's a local file inclusion. There's two. There's a local file inclusion here. So if we go by, this is 2021, so this is actually more current. So evidently this attack's still going out there. Now the thing is, our box is 2019, so evidently this is still a thing. So if we check on it, just to show you how this works, it gives you information and details about the exploit and the code. If you notice here, the exploit title, same as Mailmaster 1.1, there's a local file inclusion. Giving us the date, the author's name that found this exploit. And if you notice here, in downloads WordPress.org plugin Mailmaster in this zip file, see, it's prone to a local file inclusion vulnerability because it fails to sufficiently verify user supplied input. Make sure to modify the word list path of your preferred word list. You can download the one that they use at GitHub, and there's a GitHub right here. You can look for personal exploits. So if you notice here, we always want to do this too. If you're going to look up an exploit, we want to look at some of the code or what it's going to do. So if you notice here, see, it's going to user bin Python, so it's a Python script. It's an exploit for a WordPress plugin. So again, this here is being annotated, so it's giving us notes. I'm going to import these requests. And we're looking at this connection here. These are the colors that it's using. Okay. There's the Mailmaster, local intrusion, warning, background colors, green, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to replace the lines. Let's look down and see any more information that it gives us here. All right. And this actually looks pretty straightforward and simple, to be truthful. All right. So if we look here, we will learn more about local file inclusion as we move forward. For more resources. Well, let's continue. Let's focus on this part of our scan. See, the vulnerability identified, this title site editor, local file inclusion. If we click on the security list of full disclosure, this link, the CVE local file inclusion vulnerability in WordPress site error plugin, I will be using search exploit as proof of concept, which is a POC. and I put the exploit right here. Okay. Here we go. The proof of concept. Typical proof of concept would be to load a password file. Okay. If you notice, it says this server WP content. This is where it's going to be uploaded to. Plugins Mel and this master ink campaign count. Notice it's asking right here is there's an Etsy password. Okay. Well, let's try this. If we copy and paste the below directory and we paste it in our browser. So right here, we're going to take this link and we post it or paste it. Sorry. Let's try this. So let's copy. And if we come back up into our browser, let's type it right here. We're going to paste and go. All right. Now, if you notice, we get some information that's coming back here. It's showing root, okay? And there's a bin bash, which means we could get a shell to this because it says there's a daemon right here, right? And then this user bin, it says no login bin. Now, the thing is, if we can use this, we could pretty much what we're going to do is we could put a shell, a reverse shell, and get a connection back to us just by changing this information that's up here. See? So we're seeing there's a password involved here. And what we're going to do is local file inclusion. Okay? So it's LFI. So we're going to step through this. Okay, so mine looks like this. See, at the end, if you see bin false at the very end. See, on the third line from the bottom, see, we notice we have a Helios user. So if you look here, 1, 2, 3. See this Helios right here? There's a user right there, Helios. See? Login, no login, and it says Helios, right? We have this Helios user. We're going to take advantage of that. So keep paying close attention and follow me step by step in detail if you want to pull this vulnerability off, okay? If you peeps recall, from the beginning of our walkthrough, we ran an mmap scan, correct? In our mmap scan, we got back the result of port 25, which is SMPT, which was open, right? Now, if we now notice, well, for those unaware, we can leverage SMTP and LFI to our advantage, okay? Local file inclusion. I will share more resources once we complete this step, so you may be better understand of how this vulnerability works. First, let's delete Etsy password from our original copy and paste and add this, okay? If you now notice, right here, okay, at the end, we have this Etsy password. We're going to delete that, and we're going to paste this variable Mel Helios, okay? So we're going to copy that. Let's come back up to our browser. And right here, see that Etsy? That's what we want to get rid of. Well, let's not go all the way over too far. Let's go back. Let's backspace, backspace, backspace. Right at those equal marks. Now, we're going to right click and paste. Now hit enter. As you notice, it gave us more information that's returning back. Now again, this is part of the vulnerability. It's not supposed to be giving us this information. You now notice it's telling us information. It says log in here at this address at Helios WP login page, right? But there's going to be more information. Let me show you right here. As you now notice, if you would have just copied and pasted this same link over again, but I'm just trying to show you manually how we can delete it and change it in our browser. Your result should look like this in your browser. Again, same information we got. If this is your output, you are good to go and ready to move forward. And now what we want to do is the SMTP LFI. Please read and educate yourself on SMTP and LFI with the resource link below. It is very useful to skill to master. I give you the article about the Simple Mail Transfer Protocol, which is SMTP. What is SMTP? And what is local file inclusion? I give you a nice article on that. And then I give you some more further information on how you can do log poisoning through LFI to remote code execution. and what log poisoning is. So it's LFI to RCE, another article, and some SMTP error and codes, just in case if you have any issues going on, you'll be able to identify through the errors and codes. So again, all the resources are listed, and it will be provided in my PTF. If you want to sit here and take one of the courses and be able to use this PDF as a step and walkthrough instead of having to watch a video. So first, we need to telnet, which is not secure. I don't know anybody that really, there are some people I guess still use telnet, but I don't know why, but it's very insecure protocol. So first we need to telnet to our SMTP client on port 25, and then we're going to create our malicious email attack. Let's do this. So what we're going to do here is we're going to now telnet. Why am I getting this ad? I don't care about this ad.
From Tide, the #1 brand.
Got another ad. Sorry about that.
No irritating residues, no dyes, no perfumes.
All right. I'm not sponsored by any of these ads, so I apologize. All right. So if we look here, we're going to open up another terminal, and we're going to telnet over to port 25. See, local 25. All right. So let's come back over here. File, new tab. Let's call this one telnet. Let's paste the selection. So it's connected to Symfonos local, okay, as you notice. So let's come back up here. It's trying, it's connected. Escape character is this alpha, right? So it says 220 Symfonos local domain. It's going to give us this extra information here, right? It's going to say okay. Receipt to Helios is okay. And this data, in data. Let's scroll down a little bit more. So we're just waiting for some more information to come back from the server. All your entries should look like this. So let's recap. Okay. Let's go back over and see if any of this information came up. So right here, it's still working through it. We're just going to give it a few more minutes. So if you see, our entry should look like this. So if we recap, we telnet to SMTP through Symfonos Local 25. You're going to create your mail from then we're going to just say from Jack it's Symfonos local, right? Because it's a simple mail transfer protocol. So what we can do here now is we can add this. Let's copy. Push it through. Now notice, we're stepping through it. So 250, again, when you read these articles, you're going to understand what's going on here. It is confirmed with the server, and now it's saying, okay, so it's waiting for some more information. But now, you look down here. We got to create our receipt, right? You're sending an email, but we're doing this manually, okay? So our receipt that we're going to create is to the user Helios. So what we're going to do here is we create our receipt. We're going to paste this in. 250. So that's good. We don't want any error code. So 250, and it's saying, yes, it's okay. It's waiting for another response. So now what we're going to do is here, we need to put in a data field, okay? And this is where we're getting ready to inject our malicious, it's PHP, because this is a database, okay? So we're going to inject some malicious PHP code, which is a SQL database, but it's a PHP on the database. All right, so we're going to tell it, we're going to give it some data, and then it's going to be waiting for that data. See, 354 end the data with, and these are characters, special characters that we could end the data with. Now, if you now notice, this is where we're going to do our injection. So now we're going to inject our malicious PHP. So if you now notice here, see the characters that it ends with? So we're going to tell it we want to open some PHP in this system, and we're going to get these commands. And this is how we're going to get our shell. So now if you watch here, this is our LFI attack here. So watch here. Paste selection. Now it's waiting, right? So if we come back here, we're going to execute our PHP now. Okay? Everything executed was executed correctly, right? We can now navigate back to our browser and see if we can execute commands. So what we want to do is execute the PHP. So come back up here. So now it's okay and it's being queued. Now what we want to do is if we come back up to our browser, right, where we just were, we want to see if we can now execute a shell or give it commands now on page. So now if we come back over here, if everything was executed correctly, say we can now navigate. Now let's see what we could find here. Let's scroll down. So first let's set up, we want to do, it's called a listener, okay? Because we want to get a shell and we want to be able to listen back and be able to interact with that shell. So first we're going to set up a netcat listener on port 1234. Don't close your terminal and patiently wait for the magic. So what we want to do is we're going to set up netcat and we're going to give it the flag of NLVP listening on this port of 1234. So we're going to copy. Come back over here. I'm going to go File, open up a new tab, and we're going to call this netcat. NC, right? We're going to give it this command. Hit enter. Now do not close this port. As you see, it's listening on port 1234. Now we need to send it information back so it can hear. So now what we're going to do here is I'll give you some information about netcat here so you can learn some more resources. Sending a reverse shell on how to hack it. Okay. Now, see it says copy and paste the bin bash reverse shell below and make sure to edit. Once edited, you can post in your browser, okay? This is our bin bash reverse shell. 192.168.148, and this one's going to be 134. That's our target. Yours will be different, okay? Is my Symfonos IP address. Yours will be different. Also, 192.168.148.131 is my Cali IP address. Yours may be different, okay? Now, just to double check to make sure we're all on the same page here. I'm 132, okay? So that's changed from my original write-up. So let's put that in here. One, 3, 2, okay? So if we type in here, we know right here, our target address for me is 134. Helios is going to be WP content plugins at that mail master, right? This was where we put that variable mail Helios, right? And we put the C. We put an equal sign because this is our netcat listener right here. And this is where we pop our shell, this bin bash shell. And then we're going to give it, this is where it's calling back to 132, as you saw right here. See, that's me, Cali. We want to send it back to that. Yours will be different. So make sure that you change that. Okay. So now, if we copy and paste this, and it all works correctly. Oops, let's get back up here to my browser. Let's just open up a new tab. Again, you could have copied and added that to the end, but let's see if this works. It's going to look like it's hanging for a second, right? But if we click over back here, we go back to our netcat. You see it here? It's listening, but it's connected to from an unknown. So that means we just connected to our target machine. We've got a shell. And what we're going to do is we're going to spawn this shell. This is my browser. Once you paste it, see in your netcat listener, yay. So if you see here, see it says connected to, right here, we're connected. Now we need to spawn our shell that we just put onto this device. So what we're going to do is a short one-liner. This is a Python script. And we're going to spawn it right here with this bin bash command. So this is so we can now be able to communicate with the server. So if you look here, what we're going to do, paste this, hit enter, give it a second. Now, as you see, we got a prompt. Helios, WP Content Plugins Melmasta Incorporated Campaign. So we are now on the server. So if you look here, it's spawning the shell, understanding reverse shell. So I give you some information about the shell here, how to what we just did. So being able to explain a little bit more. So on that same, let's explore deeper and see what directories, user permissions we can find and escalate. So now, if you notice here, this is the prompt that you should be seeing, right? That we just saw. Now what we want to do is we want to look for permissions on this box, right? With this on this WordPress. So right here, we're going to look for the perms of the different users, and we're going to look for any that are dev or null, okay? So let's right click. We're going to paste that in. As you see here, it is giving us different accounts. We're going to let it run through, and then we're going to show you the ones that stick out. Okay. So now what we're about to do, this is called a Linux Privesk, which is Linux privilege escalation. Okay. And again, I give you some more resources on understanding file permissions, and how you have access and what users have access. So definitely more information to definitely look into. And again, I'll probably give you some more classes on this, and we'll do a little bit more deep dives and stuff. But for this CTF, I'm giving you all the resources so you can dig a little bit deeper and learn on your own. And then I'll also tell you some resources on how to attack and defend against Linux privilege escalation. There's also Windows privilege escalations as well. But for this one, this is a Linux box, so that's what we're going to do. So SUID executables, there's going to be some more information about that. But now we can review the output. So if you look through these directories, if you notice, this opt status check stands out. So if you notice right here, opt status check stands out. Let's check the file type of opt status check. See, it is binary. Let's tinker and learn more. So we're going to scroll down here, and we're going to navigate to this directory. So what we're going to do is we're going to go cd opt, so we can get into this directory. We're going to change directory, go to the opt directory. As you see, we're now in cd opt. See, our prompt changed. We're in opt. Come back over. Now we're going to do an ls, which is a list, right? And then it's going to give us, so you see here, it's going to say ls status check, right? We'll copy this. And eventually you'll get comfortable where we could just type this out. All right. So as you see, ls status check. So we want to look at status check. So we're going to ls all, And this is going to give us permissions, or it's going to show us the permissions on this file structure, okay? Directory structure. Let's paste this. Okay, now look at it. It says root, root, root. Status check. It needs root privilege, okay? If you notice over here, it says read and write, and then we got some executables right here, okay? Now the thing is, they all have root permission. So the thing is, we're not root. We are Helios. So we need to escalate our privileges to get root, so we can check and see what this status check is all about. So let's come back over here. So let's see. I think I explain it right here for you. So if you right here, so it says file status check. As we know, binaries can't be readable directly. We will download status check file to our machine. Let's create a server. So what we need to do here is, you see, we could read and write, so we can actually read this. So what we're going to do is, we go to this file status check. Let's step forward a little bit more. Okay, get the same information here, see? And then if we come back over here, as we know, binaries cannot be readable directly. So what we're going to do is be able to download this back to our machine. Well, the way we need to do that and stuff is we need to create our own little server. And again, you would say, oh, that's going to be hard. It's going to be a lot. It's not. It's a real simple server that we're going to set up. So what we're going to do is we're going to run a Python 3 script, and we're going to run an HTTP server on port 8005. Okay. So we're going to copy that. Let's come back over here. We're going to create a new file. And we'll call this a, I don't know, what do y'all want to call it? Simple server. So we'll just go Python server. And what port did we say that was? 8005? I think that's what it was. Right? Yeah. Okay, so come back here. Right click. All right, so we're going to run this little Python server. Right now, it is serving on port 8005. And if you notice, there's 000 because we're local. So what we're going to do is we're going to connect to that server so we can get our file. So let's open a new terminal on our Kali and use wget to extract our binary. And note, make sure to use your Symfonos target IP address. So what we're going to change here in these notes is our target is 134. Okay, so we're going to use a wget like we did before. We're going to point it to the 134, our target box on port 8005, and we're looking for this file called status check. So let's right click, copy that, bring it back up here. Again, we're going to open up a new one, new tab. Let's call this file our status check. What's great with this, with all these tabs, you could go back, create all your notes, and put it out for your report. So that's why I'm leaving all these tabs open. And again, in a real world scenario, you don't really do all this. But again, for newcomers coming, it just makes it convenient for you to know all the steps you did, and you can follow them in order and take your screenshots and add everything in. Okay, so if you now notice, it connected, it got the file. All right. No connection refused. It gave it to us though. I'm gonna have to check and see what just happened. It looks like it fell. Yeah, I think it just fell on us. I don't know why. Very odd. Why did that fell on us? 8005, right. I'm 134. Right. Let's try one more time. Why is it refusing the connection? Here, let's type this in again. Just curious. Not our Cali box. Right. Not our Cali box. I don't know why my server keeps failing. Did it give me the file? I don't think it gave me the file. We can check it though. Let's see. Let's try this. But you saw it didn't transfer. This is what's odd. Right. The server's up. We're still connected, right, with our shell. We waited too long. See, it closed out, it timed out. So we need to pop up our shell again. Yeah, we waited too long. Oh. So yeah, see, this thing timed out. So if we would have, I'm going to step through with this again and stuff. I'm going to take a break because I got to use the bathroom. And I'm not sure if I can. It was onto YouTube Studio for some reason. It won't let me shut off my camera from my end. So what we're going to do is, yeah, that is odd that it won't let me shut my camera off in the middle of a live stream. And I don't want to end the stream and have to restart over again. But once I could get this set up, I've already been, what, 3 hours? I'm right near the end, because if you guys look at the write-up, as you see, the file is going to transfer. So if we get our status check, then we scroll down. And the strings, I'm going to show you what we're looking for. There's a lot of string information. See, we found system and a curl command in the file. Then we can use this to our advantage. The way to take advantage of all this is by creating a file named the same as the command, see, curl inside the directory. So temp with the directory of bin bash, so see the bin sh command, and modifying the environment variable path. In this way, what is achieved is to execute the binary status check with the root privileges. But instead of going to look for the genuine command curl, it will first look for it inside the first path variable that we declare. And what is the temp file? Here's the bin sh how to run as root. So if you now notice, see, if you go back to our reverse shell terminal and execute what we have learned, shall we? You see here in this Helios WP content plugin mel into campaign, we're going to cd to the temp folder, okay? Inside this temp folder, we're going to echo a bin sh, right? It's a bin shell, and then we're going to curl it. So once we echo it back out, echo means it's going to report back to the screen. Once it comes back, as you see, we're here in the temp, chmod. What we're going to do is we're going to change modification to 777, and that's a Linux command, which is God row. Once we, this is changing the directory, the permissions on a directory, okay? So when we do chmod 777, we're going to curl that. And now, if you now notice here, we're going to echo that path back to us. Once it gets echoed back, it'll show you right here. You export that path, right here, the export path, and woohoo, see, we're going to be able to escalate the privileges to root. Congrats. Because once we get here, if you go ls, you're going to see this proof text come up. Once you cat, and when you do this cat the proof text, this is how you finish Symfonos. Because once we get to the proof text, we're going to be able to have access to it because now we'll have root privilege. Root is now going to show us that we can find this proof text. Once we cat this text, you're going to see it says congratulations on rooting Symfonos. And you'll get this little horse with angel wings. And then there's a person that created it that you can contact, Zaodic, who created the CTF, which we thank very much, and give him some feedback. So I put, well, congratulations, young Padawan, you did it. Staying persistent and that never quit attitude. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little break. I'll make a last little ending video to show you that I did get connected and that how we're going to be able to end up rooting this box and being done with it. And therefore, you'll actually see me completely be able to finish it because right now my back is killing me and I really need to go to the bathroom. And there's no way I can pause this video on this web stream the way that YouTube's got this set up, which is crazy. So I'm going to stop the screen for right now. And yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to end the stream and I'm going to be back in about, I don't know, 10 minutes, maybe in 15. I want to get me some water and maybe a little snack. So check out for the next stream. It's about to be uploaded. And again, it's going to be a real short one. And we're going to be able to finish this box. And I thank anybody that stopped by and that wanted to watch the video and go through the CTF with me. And hopefully you'll come back and check and see me finish and stuff. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat when I come back on stream. All right. Well, you guys take care. And I hope to see you soon. And I'll see you on the next one. 2 and 2. Be right back. All right. Have a good one.